Go, go, Wolfie Rangers! Hey, Wolfpack Cats back with another Power Rangers tier list, because 10 just isn't enough. Welcome back, Wolfpack. Once again, doing another surprise tier list stream. This time we're going to be talking about the pink and White Rangers. Yep, we got pink and the few White Rangers because some people wanted me to talk about white, so I found a tier list which actually had both. This is quote unquote the ultimate Pink Rangers tier list, which also includes the White Rangers on here too, because they were also extras backing up the Rangers. Sorry, making sure everything's working. Alright, my mic seems to be working. Alright. Yeah, got all the Pink Rangers from Kimberly all the way to whoever was in Dino Charge, and got some many White Rangers down here. I guess it was kind of easier just to stick the whites with the pinks, because usually silver, gold were the extra colors. Time Force had the best Pink Ranger. Hey, Natsu Dragon Slayer. Drakon Slayer. Hey, buddy. You're going with Angel Dust's colors, eh? Yep, we got pink and white because honestly there weren't enough White Rangers to fill their own tier list, so I thought we'd have more fun just combining them with all the big pink girls. Yeah, sorry, pink does not work well on a guy. I cannot ever see a male Pink Ranger without him being a gay stereotype. So we have the White Rangers, who are usually the guys, but also got some women in here. Dr. Cat, looking forward to talking about her. Got Alyssa, got Udana, the Mystic Force Mother. Got a lot of great characters, basically. So, Pink Ranger was usually the girl of the team. She was the girly girl, the effeminate one, the heart, the moral compass, but as the franchise evolved, so did the pinks. We had rough and tough pinks like Jen, we had military girls like Dana and Sid from SPD, we had characters like Vita, who ironically hated pink, had some tomboy Pink Rangers, and we've had quite a few White Rangers. The White Rangers were usually the more mysterious guys or the mystical girls of the team, and yeah, I got a few on here. Unfortunately, Sam did make it on here too, but we also got Tommy Oliver once again, got Alyssa, even got Trent, so a lot of fun faces, and some you do not like. Hi, Operation Overdrive. So yeah, we're going to be doing a tier list on all the Pink and White Rangers. I did not make this list. I did not include a bunch of characters. I just added Psycho Pink, and I did find this list. This is the ultimate Pink Ranger tier list, so I think we got pretty much all the characters who matter on here. Angel Dust as a gay Pink Ranger. Hello. Yeah, I could see that working. So, I'll briefly go over it if this is your first tier list ever. I will be ranking all the characters to don the pink and or white armor, ranking them from best to worst up here on this tier list. Up top, we have S tier. These are the perfect 10 out of 10s, the Platinum Skull trophies, the most awesome Rangers who made Power Ranger history, if you will. Basically, the ones we all love, the ones that fans love, the ones who laid their mark on this franchise. Then underneath it we have A. These ones good, not great. Did a good job, have their fans, have their moments. I would definitely say they were good characters, but missed that extra powerful spark to propel them into the perfect category. Then we have B. These ones, they're fine. They're whatevers. They're alright. They had a lot of good moments in them, but also had some scratches, some bad moments. Not quite perfect enough to make it higher up. Then we have C, these ones below average, the forgettable, the lame ducks, Pink Rangers nobody talks about, or people like me just plumb forgot. Then we have the question mark category. If you're visiting my Power Rangers tier list for the first time, these are characters I don't recognize. I have not watched every Power Rangers ever, most importantly all the 2010s and 2020s shows, so these are characters I just don't know anything about and honestly don't have much to say on. They're going into unknown. But down here at rock bottom, we have trash. The worst Pink and White Rangers ever, and tragically, we might be seeing a few faces down here. These ones awful, 0 out of 10s. We all hate them, or I personally hate them. They did a dishonor to the color pink and white. But yeah, I'm gonna be ranking all of them up here on the tier list. That's how this works. What's the next Goosebumps gallery, or is the series put to rest in peace? We do have some Goosebumps episodes still left. Kira's been keeping track of that. I'm kind of leaning towards our next Slappy story, but we might do Cuckoo Clock of Doom next because that's also been a long anticipated one. We'll see which comes out first. Hi, Kat. Hey, Akira. So, Pink Rangers and White Rangers, Akira. We got some white boys down here. Next, you should do the Yellow Female Rangers. Some of them have gone to do certain movie scenes in Hollywood. You're kind of late to that one, Natsu. We already did the Yellow Rangers on a tier list. I know who you're talking about, Maya especially, but also Summer's actress was also a hot chick in that Cabin in the Woods movie. I think it was Summer, but I could be wrong. Yeah, Goosebumps Gallery, we still got a few episodes left, so I'm leaning towards Cuckoo Clock of Doom or Bride of the Living Dummy. Those two are the ones we're in between right now. Bride mostly because we'll complete the Slappy arc by then, but Cuckoo Clock of Doom also because it's one we've been having on our list for a long time. I'll be keeping my eye on the birdie. Cuckoo Clock of Doom is one of my faves, concept and script-wise. Okay, I understand that. That one's been long requested. Some people wanted us to do it directly after The Haunted Mask, just because that was the order they were released in. But yeah, got all our pink girls here, and we got some white rangers down here. Only a few. I know somebody requested that we do a white rangers tier list, but honestly, there aren't too many, so we found a list that managed to have all the key white rangers added to the pinks. The only character I did add was Psycho Pink, because she's the only one that doesn't have this cool wallpaper look. Made it. Hey, Anime Night, don't worry, you didn't miss much. I'm just explaining the tier list. So, the Pink Ranger, usually the girly one. She's the heart. She's the feminine one. She's the moral compass. But as the franchise went on, we got a lot more Pink Rangers with depths. We had Kendrix. We had Corone, one of the greatest characters in this franchise. We've had Jen, who might be the best Pink Ranger ever. We've had Pink Rangers who turned evil. We had the Pink Ranger who was a tomboy who hated being girly in the color pink. And got some White Rangers on here for some extra bonus stuff to talk about. The White Ranger is usually the mysterious one if it's a guy, or the mysterious mage if it's a female. We have Udana on here, we have Dr. Cat, and we unfortunately have Sam on here too. Like, before we start, like, the Pink Keeper in Go-Go Loser Rangers is disabled with wheelchair bound. Whoa, Akira, can I have some white bread on that judgmental sandwich? Alright, so honestly got kind of a much smaller list than I anticipated. I thought the Pink Ranger was in every Ranger show, but after watching some, I started to realize they kind of dropped Pink in a few of these. Like, we had no Pink Ninja Storm Ranger, no Pink Dino Thunder Ranger, and yeah, no Pink Wild Force Ranger, which, yeah, kind of surprised me. That was the first one where he had yellow and white, but she had pink streaks on her white armor, so I guess she counts. You could say when it comes to the Pink Ranger, it's a Jill of all trades. Yeah, White Ranger, also kind of mystical, but a lot more mysterious. We had Tommy Oliver, Udana's on here. Unfortunately, I don't know anything about the Dino Charge Rangers, so she might be going up on mystery. But yeah, we should probably get this list underway for all of you waiting to see who's who of Pink and White. So we should start with the OG, the original, Kimberly Ann Hart. Kimberly from Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, going on to S tier. Yeah, is this really a big shocker? Of course. Like, we've been praising Mighty Morphin a lot, so did you really think the fan favorite and everyone's 90s crush Kimberly wasn't going to be on here? This is Kimberly Ann Hart from Mighty Morphin, specifically the first 2.5 seasons of Mighty Morphin before Kat awkwardly replaced her. Did you mention Kim Possible? I don't think so. So the long and short of it, Pink and White are interchangeable. Well, White Ranger can be a guy. It's because the guys aren't going to be dignified wearing pink. Let's just be honest, it is ultimately a boys' franchise at the end of the day. And most guys do not wear pink. Even the most flamboyant of gay guys would think that looks totally stupid on them. Anyways, Kimberly, yeah. Also, Christina V played Kimberly in Rita's Rewind the video game. Oh, she did. Okay, good for her. I used to like Cassie from Turbo and In Space until she started chasing after the Phantom Ranger, leaving TJ with nothing. Yeah, Cassie prefers the mysterious bad boys. I am an expert. Okay, Kira. Prepared for backlash, but I never found Kimberly hot or attractive to me. It'll always be Trini, the Yellow Ranger, R.I.P. Trini. Yeah, I get that too. Trini was way hotter, mostly because she looked like she worked out and she was a lot more cuter and wore surprisingly more revealing outfits than Kimberly did. Kimberly is the girl next door. She's a gymnast. She's the nice girl. She's the popular girl. Even the idiot bullies Bulk and Skull kind of crushed on her. Like, everyone wanted Kimberly. Jason was into her. Billy, I'm certain, was also into her. And as we all know, Tommy Oliver finally dated her. And they had one of the cutest romances in Power Rangers history until she broke up with him via a Dear John letter. Yeah, I still have some bitter resentment towards Kat for that. Expect Flamingo in the DC Comics who wears pink. Yeah, I know you're talking about. Kimberly is AO, there's a big surprise. That's so, I can't believe it. I think I'm gonna have a heart attack from that surprise. Yeah, everyone loves Kimberly. I know Trini was way hotter, but that's because Trini is a lot more cute and adorable and had a more innocence around her, whereas Kimberly, a lot more go-getter girl. She was definitely in your face. She was, as you can tell by the picture, the archer. She had a bow and arrow. She had hearts. She kicked a lot of butt. The movie's kind of nerfed her, not gonna lie. And no, I'm not talking about the 2017 ones. I'm talking about the 90s movies, the Mighty Morphin movie, and the Turbo movie, which even hardcore fans do not like to talk about. Mostly because the movies kind of ruined the Rangers. Kimberly got the most ruination in those movies. In the first 90s movie, I did see this one, and it is free on YouTube currently. I watched this one. Kimberly's kind of much more needy and clingy, kind of turned into a short damsel in distress. Not fully helpless, but she called on Tommy for help way too many times, where even fans were kind of calling it out how Kimberly's not usually this weak, but the movie needed high suspense. Kimberly can't hold her own in a fight. She is badass. She does mouth off to Tommy, doesn't take his BS, even when they're brainwashed by the bad guys. So Kimberly also got taken hostage by Lord Zed and almost died, and unfortunately, this led to her quitting the Power Rangers team and passing her powers on to Kat. Yeah, we'll get to Kat, but yeah. Yeah, Kimberly is a classic. She is a staple. She was there when the franchise started, and she got a lot of credit for being the first Pink Ranger, and to Amy Jo Johnson's credit, she actually is a good actress. She had a huge career after Mighty Morphin Power Rangers ended. So yeah, she actually did have success and stardom after this role. Young Ranger fans forget just how big a deal Kim was for us. Longtime Rangers grew up on the show in 94. Yeah, Kimberly was every boy's 90s crush back then. I wasn't really alive when Mighty Morphin was airing. I watched Power Rangers through VHS tapes, so yeah, I did not grow up on Mighty Morphin. I went back to watch it. I still haven't finished it. Sorry, it's gonna take a million years to finish it, but yeah, watching Mighty Morphin, Kimberly is definitely a staple. She's the girl next door. She's cute, she's wholesome, she has a heart, hence the pun in her name, Kimberly Ann Hart. She's a caring, compassionate, moral compass of the Rangers, and Amy Jo Johnson being hot definitely helped make her stand out. Not related, but I did it. I am officially a senior. Good for you. Just some random guy with comments. Flamingo. There's a DC Comics character called Flamingo. Yes, there is. Prism Entertainment. I believe he's a part of Professor Pig's Circus of Strange. My comic book, Yokai University. Kimberly is cool, like the inspiration from Alice Ayala. Okay. From your comic. Alright. Yeah, there is a DC villain called Flamingo. So, 2017, Kimberly is Penelope Pitstop. Might be dirtier. Even Persona 3 has Phoenix Ranger, Featherman. Okay, whatever. Kimberly's gone on to S tier. She's a classic. Everybody loves her. Amy Jo Johnson really threw her all into the role, and basically, Mighty Morphin did not have that deep characters, but she was definitely a positive role model for girls to look up to, and definitely the cute girl all the boy fans definitely crushed on. She was kick-ass. She was definitely a 90s crush right there next to 7 of 9 and Xena in terms of how awesome and hot she was. Amy Jo Johnson was apparently a gymnast in real life, which is how that reflects in a lot of her combat scenes, and all the fan servicey shots of her working in the gymnasium. She's definitely cool and kick-ass. So Kimberly I will stick on to S. Unfortunately, she might be outclassed by some later pinks. Hi, Jen. But the movies also did not do her well. The first two 90s movies, Turbo made her worst. In Turbo, Kimberly and Jason return for a reunion, and they get captured by Divatox and brainwashed to be evil. And Amy Jo Johnson clearly did not take it seriously. Fun fact, Kim had the most individual monster kills of the OG Rangers. Okay, that is pretty cool. Kat still hasn't finished Mighty Morphin. You son of a... Yeah, cue the chicken fight. Yeah, I'm sorry, I haven't finished it. It's only like 500 episodes, so it'll take time. 7 of who? 7 of 9. She's from Star Trek Voyager. Why did Zordon use teenagers to fight monsters instead of someone from the military? I assume because they would live a much longer lifespan as Power Ranger warriors if you start young. But yeah, Kimberly was a teenager with attitude, so of course she's gone on to S tier. Unfortunately, we're now getting to her replacement, so Amy Jo Johnson left the show, and she passed the power of pink onto her successor, Kat. Oh boy, Kat. Sorry, I got my 500 waters here because it is a especially hot day, but... Oh, where did put Kat? So, bad news, I still have not watched Power Rangers Zeo. I was going to do it after Mighty Morphin, and that might have been a big mistake because I haven't finished Mighty Morphin, but... I have not seen Zeo, and apparently Kat was redeemed in that show, and all I know is Kat was the bitch who replaced fan favorite Kimberly, so not a good start, and unfortunately I saw Turbo, and she pretty much had zero personality in that. So, Kat, this might upset some people, but Kat, I'll have to put onto A. So, she got better in Zeo. I've seen Linkara's review of it only. Kat was basically Tommy's second love, and the new Pink Ranger. So, Amy Jo Johnson left the show, and Kat became the new Pink in the third and final season of Mighty Morphin, and she did not lay a good first impression. She's a ballet dancer, and was also a nice moral compass of the group and a go-getter girl, exactly like Kimberly, and it was blatantly obvious she was kind of a stand-in for Kimberly, rather than her own character. Now, I did hear she got better in Zeo, and there were some huge plans for her, but I have not watched Zeo, so that will affect my judgment. I know she's grown into a fan favorite, and Kat has been redeemed in the eyes of a lot of hardcore Ranger fans. Hi, Kat, what'd I miss? Hey, Bat Kid, we're on Kat, Kimberly's replacement from the Zordon era. Kat hasn't watched Zeo. Why, you little... Yeah, I'm sorry, I haven't watched Zeo. I heard somebody wanted to do a crossover stream on Power Rangers with me, so I kind of sidelined Zeo in case that does come to fruition. I might watch it with this person, but we'll see. Also, I heard some who watched the first Power Rangers said they got their awakening because of Kim being a gymnast. That wouldn't surprise me. Good for you, boys. You definitely deserved her. Kimberly was a perfect 10 out of 10. Unfortunately, we're on Kat, and I have not watched Zeo. I heard she got better, and one thing in particular that stood out is her romantic chemistry with Tommy. A lot of fans actually did grow to love Kat. Kat got better, she got her own character, she had dreams of being somebody beyond a Power Ranger, and she stuck around a while. She did stick all the way to Turbo, until her and Jason David Frank got tired of being on Power Rangers and wanted to do other things, where they left in Turbo in the infamous Passing of the Torch two-parter, which I heard some people actually like, but there's still a ton of hate around that, and I'm one of them. I actually met Catherine Sutherland last month. Really cool lady who understood that she had big shoes to fill. Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. Wild Force. Yeah, Catherine Sutherland played Tesla in Wild Force. Oh, she did. Okay. Yeah, don't worry. The Wild Force Ranger is on here, Alyssa. Anyways, Kat, I did not see Zeo, so I can't comment too much, but I did watch clips of her and Tommy, like, flirting and being lovey-dovey together. It was pretty clear that Tommy had fully moved on from Kimberly by this point, and he and Kat definitely felt like a real couple halfway into Zeo. Catherine really loved Tommy, and they got to know each other much more on a personal level. Catherine gets a lot more depth in Zeo. Then Turbo happened, and pretty much none of the Mighty Morphin characters really mattered by that point. Catherine was still the Pink Ranger until she passed the torch on to Cassie, and Cassie definitely did not deserve it at this point in Turbo. Cassie was this obnoxious, basically wannabe rock star diva annoying people on a bus. She came to Angel Grove to be a musician and I guess go to high school here. We never see her parents for a while, but yeah. And Catherine was supposed to come back in Dino Thunder. There's this character, her name is, Hillary? Yeah, Haley. Haley, yeah, right. In Dino Thunder, Tommy is friends with this bartender girl who works at the New Age juice bar named Haley, and allegedly Haley was supposed to be either Kimberly or Kat. They were going to have the former Pink Ranger come back and be another mentor figure helping the new generation, the Dino Thunder Rangers, master their powers and help them face Mesogog's forces of evil. And Haley was supposed to be Kat at one point. However, Catherine Sutherland's schedule didn't align, and understandably, she was not going to move to New Zealand to film this show. So it tragically never happened, and Haley pretty much became her own character, but it's very clear she was supposed to be like a past Ranger ally, and I believe we would have seen Kat and Tommy basically reignite their old flames again and fall in love once more by the end of Dino Thunder and bringing a proper conclusion of them hooking up, but tragically it never happened. Her actress was in Rice Krispies commercials. Patricia J. Lee played Cassie. Yeah, she's a Korean-American actress. Yeah, I guess it's time. After Kat left, she passed the mantle in Turbo onto Cassie, and Cassie was not at all good in Turbo, along with everything else. So, now we get to Cassie Chan, and believe it or not, Cassie did make it into S tier. I might actually put her above Kimberly because I loved her on In Space. So, Cassie sucked in Turbo. All of the Turbo replacements were not very good. They were either boring, bland, or straight up unlikable. Justin and Carlos were definitely unlikable. Ashley and TJ were definitely bland and boring. Cassie was kind of in between. She had her annoying and stupid moments, but a lot of people did like her. One thing that redeemed her was her romance with the Phantom Ranger. She had a clear and obvious crush on the Phantom Ranger, but that tragically went nowhere because the writers of Turbo basically brushed it under the rug and liked to pretend it never happened. Yeah, she was Jill Valentine in RE5. Also in the anime Ghost in the Shell, Akira and Mobile Suit Gundam. Okay, I did not know that. Liability in Turbo, top tier in Space, very much like Ashley. Hi, Kat, what did I miss? We're now on Cassie, who's gone on to S tier. Screw the Phantom Ranger. Yeah, he could have been so cool, but they didn't do anything with him. So as I mentioned before, the Turbo Rangers pretty much sucked so badly that they lost to Divatox and Elgar. They lost the iconic command center, Zordon was captured, and the power was gone. They didn't have Mighty Morphin power, the Zeo crystals were gone, and Turbo power was pretty much erased from existence. thank goodness. And so Cassie and her team went into space to chase after Zordon because they wanted to rescue him, and this is where Cassie earned her mantle, basically. Cassie is much better in space because they actually gave her depth and made her more likable. Cassie became the new heart of the team. We see her softer side, see her nicer side. Her and Ashley actually feel like friends in space, whereas Turbo, they kind of felt like awkward people who were forced to be together. Ashley and Cassie definitely had a lot more friendship moments in here. Cassie actually does have a heart in this show. She cares about Waspicable, who's a monster who doesn't want to be evil. Cassie basically grows into her own in this show, finally earns her ranger powers, and proves that she can take care of herself. She fights Psycho Pink, helps save Ashley. Cassie has that cool sonar blaster, which I really love. Her outfit, much more amazing, and Patricia J. Lee, pretty fine. She is pretty beautiful, not gonna lie. Also, Plaque live action Haruhu Suzumi in the short. Hi everyone, hey Cammy Thompson, we're not too far, we're on Cassie right now. So, Cassie, a million times better in space, and like with everyone else, all the Turbo Rangers were basically redeemed and salvaged by In Space. They became a lot more likable, had hidden depths, and actually proved that they were good Rangers all along. So Cassie definitely became a fan favorite thanks to In Space. It definitely helped that Patricia J. Lee was pretty beautiful. She was like the hot popular girl, replacing both Kat and Kimberly, something she kind of lacked in Turbo. They tried to make her the punk girl, and Patricia J. Lee was just too cute to be seen as a badass rock star. Unfortunately, her singing career did not go anywhere, but yeah, she kicks ass. She has a lot of good episodes, a lot of friendship moments with Ashley and TJ. Her romance with the Phantom Ranger arc is referenced, but ultimately goes nowhere. I kind of wish they did actually give a proper conclusion, whether they hooked up or broke up. Would have at least amounted to something, but yeah, erasing Turbo was definitely a fine choice too. She actually defeats the Pink Psycho Ranger with Ashley's help, of course, and they have that fun girls montage. Really liked that. Cassie did not get as huge a character arc because it was mostly Andros and Astronema as the characters going through a lot of story arc and development, but she is there in the finale, kicking butt, fighting the Quantrons, and after the Z-Wave hits, they lose their space powers until Lost Galaxy happened and they suddenly got them back. Cassie is okay. I think it's cool that Patricia J. Lee is a firefighter now. Oh, she is? I did not know that. Imagine if Pinkie Pie was a Pink Ranger, it would be absolutely chaotic. It's like a human sacrifice. Dogs and cats living together, mass hysteria. While Ashley was my first Ranger crush, Cassie wasn't far off in terms of attractiveness. Yeah, fully agree. Cassie was definitely cute and adorable. Terra Rangers. So essentially all the Turbo 2.0 Rangers were developed better in space. Yes, they were. All the Turbo Rangers basically rescued from being the worst Rangers ever. Carlos got a nicer side. Cassie used to be a bitch in Turbo, but in space she actually has a softer side, lightened up, became more of a badass tomboy, and Ashley was kind of boring. They actually gave her a wholesome romance with Andros, gave her a lot more times to shine, and showed that she could stand on her own. And TJ became the brains of the outfit. He was definitely the smart guy of the team. He actually got to show that he was smart in space, whereas in Turbo, they acted like he was a genius just because he was the Red Ranger. Cat within the Japanese version. Okay, so Cassie would come back in Lost Galaxy during To the 10th Power, one of the greatest Power Rangers crossovers of all time, where they fought the Psycho Rangers with the modern Rangers at the time, the Galactic Rangers. She and Kendrick stuck together, Pink Rangers gotta look out for one another, and they kill Psycho Pink, but Cassie would actually get another spotlight episode one last time in The Power of Pink, where Psycho Pink survived and went on her revenge spree to achieve ultimate power and finally kill the two Pink Rangers. And yeah, we get to see Pink energy on full display. Three of the greatest Pinks of all time, Cassie, Kendricks, and Psycho Pink, having their big big showdown, basically. Psycho Pink obtains this super duper powerful sword, which can absorb energy whenever it's used. Whenever it hits an opponent, the power increases, and Psycho Pink increases to Super Saiyan God mode. Cassie, unfortunately, suffers a brutal beatdown, and she's down for the count, where it leads to that great moment. Kendrix sacrifices herself to destroy Psycho Pink, and Kendrix is the first Pink Ranger to die, and Cassie feels a tremendous amount of guilt for it, and I will be leading into the what if that almost happened here. So, Kendrix died, Psycho Pink is destroyed by the pink energy, Zordon was right, too much pink energy is dangerous. Kendrix dies, and Cassie pretty much blames herself for it, and this leads into a tragic what could have been scenario. So, the original plan was the Galactic Rangers needed a new Pink Ranger because Kendrix was dead, mostly because Valerie Vernon had to go to the hospital to get leukemia therapy and treat herself. She needed to leave because of medical reasons, but it meant the character was getting killed off. So, originally, Cassie was supposed to be her replacement. Cassie was supposed to be the new Galactic Ranger. She felt guilty for causing Kendrix to sacrifice herself because she was too weak to help, and Cassie was supposed to undergo this pseudo-redemption arc being the new Galactic Pink Ranger. But unfortunately, it didn't happen because behind-the-scenes drama occurred. Patricia J. Lee wanted a pay raise, she wanted more money, and the producer said hell no, and they scrapped that idea entirely and tried to work out something else. Wolf Entertainment. What about Kendrix and Astronema Corone? Are they next? Yep, they're down here. We're about to get to them. Just wrapping up Cassie. Kendrix is the Wildcat Pink Ranger, also played by Valerie Vernon. Yeah, I really love Kendrix. Don't worry, we'll get to her soon, but yeah, Cassie was supposed to be the new Pink Galactic Ranger. This didn't happen because Patricia J. Lee got into an argument with the producers, and they decided to fire her. The Space Rangers apparently were not treated well in the Power of Pink episode, as they were in To the 10th Power, and yeah, basically, they awkwardly reshot the scene where we never see the Space Rangers out of their space uniforms, and they bid farewell to the Galactic Rangers and go off surfing in the unknown cosmos, where we never saw them again until Megaforce. Cassie makes one final appearance in that big Megaforce event, the 20-year anniversary of Power Rangers, and Cassie and TJ are two of the Space Rangers in the crowd of all the old Rangers reuniting with the Megaforce Rangers. Yeah, this is pretty much the only reason why people watch Megaforce, to see that big epic crossover event where all the Rangers they could get or afford show up in the final battle, and yeah, Patricia J. Lee as Cassie is back along with TJ. They're wearing their in-space uniforms, which is good because nobody wants to be reminded of Turbo, and Cassie basically fights a bunch of nameless foot soldiers with all these old school Rangers. So I said this before, the Megaforce event could have been so cool, but it was basically a bunch of member berries and cameos of all the old Rangers. As much as Kat loved Maya, I can tell you were just as much a fan of Valerie/Kendrix. Yeah, I love Kendrix. If Maya's a perfect 10, Kendrix is a solid 9. So yeah, let's do her next. Kendrix, the Lost Galaxy Pink Ranger. And Kendrix, also going on to S tier. Yep, I really like her. Kendrix is super adorable and cute, but also super badass. She's like a trained Marine, and it's very funny seeing this socially awkward nerd girl like flipping guys twice her size. I remember one of my favorite episodes where she swaps with the actress who looks like her, and Valerie Vernon got to show off her acting range. Yep, Valerie Vernon. As much as Kat loved Maya, I can tell you're just as much a fan of Kendrix. Yeah, I really loved Kendrix. I think both Maya and Kendrix were pretty hot, but Maya was much more my crush, mostly because she was a lot more out there, a lot more outspoken, and a cool kick-ass warrior jungle princess, but Kendrix was also pretty cute, and Kendrix was one of the charming, more likable, friendly Pink Rangers. This brought back to the Pink Ranger being the nice girl character archetype. Kendrix, so you have to talk about her biggest moment ever. Kendrix is most popular because she was the first Power Ranger to die. Like, not just the actress died in a tragic accident, or she was killed and brought back to life. No, she died in the line of duty. Kendrix was there in a big epic fight against Psycho Pink, and she was the first ever Power Ranger to be full-blown killed off. That is why Kendrix made Ranger history, and why I think a lot of people will agree she's on S tier, because Kendrix literally died heroically sacrificing herself to kill Psycho Pink. Saya was the Japanese counterpart of Kendrix. In Seiju Sentai Ginga Mob, Megaforce is still the absolute worst Power Ranger series. I agree, James, I agree. Beast Morpher is also pretty bad, not gonna lie. So did TJ and Cassie become a couple? I'm not sure. We do see they're still hanging out together, so you'd assume so, but there's a lot of fan theories that she's trying to hook up with the Phantom Ranger still. Kimberly is like wine. She never gets old. I know she is a mega cliche. Kendrix, epic sacrifice, yep. Valerie, Serena, Amy, no wonder you loved Lost Galaxy so much. Yeah, Lost Galaxy had some of the hottest girls of the series. We had Maya, Kendrix, Corone, don't forget Corone, Astronema came back in there, and Trakina, Amy Miller is pretty hot. Love Stolen Beauty, that's one of my favorite episodes. I used to love the yellow Wild Force Ranger. Oh, you mean Taylor? Yeah, sorry, she's not on this list. We did yellows already, so now we're doing pinks and whites. I didn't see much of Lost Galaxy growing up. Well, I did not see Lost Galaxy when it was on TV. I watched it basically on YouTube, watched it through the internet, and I watched it years later. I was actually introduced to Lost Galaxy through their crossover with Lightspeed Rescue. Lightspeed Rescue was the first Ranger show I saw on TV, so that's how I kind of discovered them and learned, holy cow, you mean there's more Power Rangers? Yeah, I was shocked. I was shocked because I was a kitten then, so of course it really blew my mind that there's more Power Rangers out there. Not only that, they all have their own shows, and I learned of the Lost Galaxy Rangers through Lightspeed Rescue and went back to watch the show, and it really grew attached to it. Found out that there were a lot of underrated and badass Power Ranger shows I never watched before. Kendrix would have been better as Red. No, Leo is an awesome Red. He's on my top 5. Melody Perkins is Corone's actress. Yep, she's on here. I stopped watching Power Rangers when RPM ended. Don't blame you, Natsu. That is pretty much the perfect ending point, all things considered. Loveland, show some respect for Leo. Yeah, Leo was the badass Red leader. I love Kendrix, but Leo, he had that great character arc. So anyways, back to Kendrix. I really liked her. Valerie Vernon is very pretty. She was pretty enough to replace a diva actress in her show. That showed you how good she was. So Kendrix tragically did not have too many episodes because Valerie Vernon found out she had leukemia, and Kendrix started appearing less and less until she got killed off in The Power of Pink. And fun fact, apparently Saban kept her name in the credits so they can continue to pay her and pay for her operation that kept her alive. This was back when studios actually cared about their actors, so it was pretty nice to see and know that Valerie Vernon still had support, and it's why Kendrix kind of awkwardly reappears in the credits even though her character was killed off. So, pretty nice of Saban Entertainment. I miss when studios actually cared. But yeah, Kendrix had at least a few episodes. She had that episode where she swapped with an actress. We actually learned about her character. Kendrix always keeps a promise. Even though she's in pain from a monster fight, she can hardly walk, and she's still fighting through it and acting in this picture she hates. And Kendrix actually shows basically little girls that you shouldn't give up just because things are hard. And that is a very, very important lesson we teach kids, to never give up. Like, the actress basically quit and wanted to walk off set, while Kendrix was charging through it. She was suffering, but she never broke her promise. She had to do it because nobody else would, and she had to basically keep her word, and that is actually pretty inspirational. But I know you all love the episode where Maya ate Kendrix's birthday cake. Kendrix baked a surprise birthday cake for Damon's birthday party, and Maya, because she's an alien, didn't understand it was being saved, and she eats the cake, leading to a funny, hysterical girl fight between the two. Yeah, Kendrix and Maya having a friendship fallout was one of the funniest episodes to me as a kitten. I really love how Leo and Kai listened in to hear the sexy cat fight commence. Tragically, that doesn't happen, but they do have a rift in their friendship, and Kendrix is the first to realize that she was kind of being petty, that she shouldn't have severed ties completely with Maya over something as ridiculous as a cake, even though Kendrix was kind of in the right to be pissed. But Maya also has her realization that she too was also a bitch, that the cake was for a birthday party. She's an alien, so she doesn't understand human traditions and customs. Apparently, Miranoi never celebrates birthdays, so that's why Maya doesn't know, and they apologize, make amends, and have their kick-ass you go girl moment where they defeat Destruxo and save the city from a dome. Dr. Cat is also epic, being the moral compass of Doggy and SPD. Yep, she's down here too. Got Dr. Cat and, unfortunately, Sam. I mean, as a show, who's Leo? Leo Corbett, the Red Ranger from Lost Galaxy, James. Dr. Katz of SPD is mega hot. Fully agree. Sexy cat girls in Power Rangers is a huge win. I was surprised you picked the Bug and the Bat Lady has the best. Not Dr. Catherine Cat Mix. Hey, I like Vipra too. Trakina is also underrated, so yeah. Dr. Cat almost made my hottest list, but I decided to cut it shorter. She did get an honorable mention though. I would have included her at like number 8 or 9. So Saya was Corone and Kendrix in the Japanese version. What is worse, Turbo, Megaforce, Super Megaforce, or Dino/Cosmic Fury? That is hard. I might have to go with Megaforce because Turbo at least had some glimmers of hope. Cat, yeah, I mean as a show. Dr. Cat is also epic. Yeah, read that one. Yeah, Astronema Corone is on your next. So, as I was saying, Kendrix actually did come back. Like, this leads to kind of the weird thing where after she died destroying Psycho Pink, she became a Force ghost, and it was basically Valerie Vernon's final farewell scenes. She makes peace with all the Rangers, says goodbye to them, and magically comes back to life in the finale. Yet, it is never explained. It is a total anime ass pull. It comes completely out of nowhere, but after the Galaxy Rangers defeat Trakina, they return the Quasar Sabers to the stone because their hero's journey is done, and basically this magicked Kendrix back to life, and it was all a complete BS excuse to get Valerie Vernon back for the finale, to have that heartwarming fairy tale reunion, and okay, so I like Kendrix coming back because she was a likable ranger, but come on, this like came out of nowhere. It is not explained, and it wouldn't be explained until Cosmic Fury, where apparently the Morphing Masters spared Kendrix's soul. Whatever that means, but yeah, Kendrix came back, and she appears in the crossover with Lightspeed Rescue, once again where they defeat Trakina for good with the Lightspeed Rescue Rangers. It is honestly an underrated crossover. I know it had a lot of problems, but compared to some later crossovers between Rangers, it has definitely aged a lot better. But yeah, that's the last time we see Valerie Vernon as Kendrix. And I will put her onto S tier. She did make Ranger history because of her death. That is why people know and recognize Kendrix. But she wasn't too bad a character on her own, so I will stick her onto S. But now we finally get to another character you've all been waiting to talk about, her successor, Corone, aka Astronema. Yep, Astronema is back. She became the new Pink Galactic Ranger, and yep, she's also going on to S tier. Yeah, Astronema Corone is next. Would Dr. K be a good Pink/White Ranger? Oh, she is on here. She is the White Ranger on technicality. She's right here next to Sam. We will be talking about her soon. Dr. K isn't a ranger. We never see her morph in RPM or have a ranger form. Oh, Dr. K. Okay, I keep confusing her with Dr. Cat because they spell cat with a K in the Ranger show. Yeah, we have Dr. Cat on here. Dr. K, not so much. She is kind of the mentor figure for the Rangers. Like, see, cool, looks cool as a Catwoman actress. Or Cheetah. Crone next. She is hot. Deus Ex Machina. Yeah, that pretty much was it. Okay, so yes, Crone is here. She is Kendrix's successor. This is former villainous Astronema. After the events of In Space, she went out on her own across space to basically atone for her misdeeds as the Princess of Evil Astronema. Crone used to be the bad guy of Power Rangers In Space. She was Dark Spectre's right-hand woman, the Princess of Evil Astronema, had an epic fight against the Rangers. We talked about this in our In Space tier list, but Astronema was a pretty fun villain, very iconic, and did the evil, sexy alien space princess before Trakina came along. But yeah, I do like her, and Melody Perkins being hot definitely made a lot of boys remember her. So, after she was broken free of her brainwashing, Crone joined the Space Rangers. Then at some point, she went out on her own, using her former identity as Astronema to sneak into like bad guy crimes, bad guy cases, even evil villain bars, to basically destroy them from the inside. She's an anti-hero at this point. Crone is across space, and she finds the Quasar Saber that Kendrix lost, and she manages to steal it from Trakina's forces at an evil villain auction, and Trakina, of course, won't let this go and is following her, where Crone teams up with the current Power Rangers, the Galactic Rangers, who at this point need a replacement to fill Kendrix's shoes. And this is why a lot of people loved Crone, because this was a very nice and fitting end of her redemption arc. Crone is now fully good at this point, and basically is now so noble and pure of heart that she earns Kendrix's place as the Pink Ranger. The Quasar Saber is passed on to her. Kendrix as a Force Ghost shows up and tells Crone that she is definitely worthy to carry on her mantle. Crone becomes the new Galaxy Pink. And, yep, she's pretty kick-ass. Crone gets a lot of nice moments bonding with the Galactic Rangers. Very clear, it's a bit awkward that she does have to become friends with this entire new team of characters, and Maya rather quickly grows attached to Crone. They become roomies, and it's very clear that Crone does feel a bit guilty that she can never fill Kendrix's place, but the Galaxy Rangers slowly grow attached to her. They slowly like her. She becomes friends with them. Maya gets a new bestie. She gets shipped with Leo because of course she does. Crone is like shipped with everybody but her brother. I know, I mean, hypothetically, if Dr. K was a ranger. Okay, I see what you're saying. If Dr. K became a ranger, I could only see her as, like, the Platinum Ranger. She does have kind of a bit of an ego there. I can now understand why Kendrick/Cassie were your toughest calls to leave off a recent tier. Yeah, they were definitely cool. Like, why Pink have less attention in Jungle Fury and RPM? Yeah, I don't know why. They were trying to, like, phase out the Pink Ranger at that time. I assume that they didn't want to stereotype the girl as the pink one, because not every girl loves pink or is effeminate, but yeah, it was kind of a weird choice. I mostly think the Sentai footage kind of played a huge choice in that they wanted to try more colors. Nadira as a Pink Ranger, why not? Hot. Yeah, Nadira could have been a Power Ranger. That could have been cool, but unfortunately it didn't happen. Hi, hey Axel. Do you think Crone and Zane ever got together? I do not, mostly because Crone kind of flirts with Leo a lot in Lost Galaxy. There are brief moments where Crone is very attached to Leo, so kind of clear that she's moved on and is trying to hit on other dudes. Though I did hear in the fan films, there is like a fan series which carried on In Space, and they actually got a few of the original In Space actors to come back for it. I know Andros' actor and Zane's actor are in it. I don't know if Melody Perkins came back. I've not watched it. I only seen like clips and a few images here and there. But anyways, Crone pretty kick-ass. They gave her a tight, hot leather outfit, so yeah, just to remind you that she's hot, which I do appreciate. Crone and Trakina getting into a sexy fight over the saber, definitely at peak television right there. But Crone is definitely a worthy replacement. She is now the more nice go-getter girl. She tries to help Damon get a promotion in the Terraventure ship. She hangs out with Kai, she flirts with Leo at times, and she and Maya become instant besties, and Crone is there fighting and saving the day all the way to the finale, but the finale gave a lot more focus on Trakina and Leo's perspective, so she's kind of downplayed and is back up in the finale, but she does get a fulfilling character arc where basically former villainess became a true badass ranger hero, so that is why Crone is definitely on S tier. It was a proper resolution to her redemption arc, and I can definitely see why fans liked her. And yes, Crone did come back on that Mega Force event. She is one of the Rangers in the crowd, and for some reason they show you her Astronema pick first, which is weird because she was a villain during that, but yeah, she shows up and gives another funny line. "I love being a Power Ranger." Get it? It's ironic because she hated the Power Rangers at first, and that was a line in space. Please rank Nadira as a pink ranger. Also, why didn't you pick her as a hot character? She made the honorable mentions, James. She made the honorable mentions. Don't worry, I have another tier list related to that coming up. Do you think Cronin's... Alright, read that one. Like a Wildcat Ranger, like a sexy Catwoman Ranger, but pink. Unfortunately, Akira, we got a white Ranger as a sexy Catwoman. Not a pink, though, but I think Kendricks and Crone were the pink Wildcat, but you could barely tell. I think their fighting moves were the only feline thing they ever did, where we see her do pounce attacks and doing kind of a Wildcat prance, but that was about it. That was really it. She was a cat girl ranger, but didn't have much of a cat persona tied to her. Imagine what Andros' reaction would have been to his sister becoming a ranger. He would have been so proud of her. Yeah, you want to see Nadira on a tier list? You might. I do have one coming up. While Astronema isn't quite on your bad girl top tier, Melody did a great job transitioning from villain to hero. Yeah, Melody Perkins was one of the better actors on Power Rangers. It was kind of surprising how she's a campy, over-the-top supervillain in space, until we get to that moment where she realizes she was related to Andros and actually got to be dramatic for a change and show a side to her that you never thought you'd see. Yeah, Astronema/Crone is one of the best characters of all time, so of course as a Pink Ranger, she'll be on S tier. But she is kind of going under Kendricks because I did kind of crush on Kendricks along with Maya. I like how you added the picture of their Ranger forms, guess so you wouldn't mix them up like the Yellow Rangers. Yeah, that definitely helped. Hey, Moonwing Entertainment, glad you made it. As much as I liked Nadira, she wasn't quite at the Trakina or Vipra level. Yeah, Vipra and Trakina, definitely the top bad girls. Vipra should have been the Pink Ranger soon. Well, unfortunately, Akira, she died twice. I would have loved for Vipra to get a redemption arc, but that's because Jennifer Yen is a perfect 10. What do you think of Dana in Lightspeed Rescue? Yeah, we're getting to her. But long story short, yeah, Crone's gone on to S tier. She was great as Astronema, and who would have thunk it, she made a great Pink Ranger. S tier for certain. So now we get to Dana from Lightspeed Rescue. Sentai is always trying to make different team color combos, like some teams may have red, blue, yellow, green, and pink, or another team could have white, red, blue, pink, and yellow. Yeah, experimenting with colors. Pink Viper Rangers. I would have loved for Vipra to become a Power Ranger, but unfortunately, that's not gonna happen. So, fingers crossed if a comic does that. Thank God she's not shipped with her brother. Yeah, thank goodness. At least in canon. Hey, Kat, when are you gonna do Disney villains tier list next? I might, but I'm checking to see if people might be interested in talking about the live-action Disney villains, which makes me afraid to do it. If only Divatox could have been a Pink Ranger. No, That Turbo movie had me going through puberty at the age of 6. Divatox. Okay, so yeah, Divatox is hot, but she was annoying. She was like obnoxious and annoying. I would rather take Jennifer Yen's wooden acting over Hillary Shepard or the other chick's very rambunctious, loudmouth, obnoxious woman-child persona. Also, Pink Ranger used to be my favorite, mostly because I had a phase when I was obsessed with pink, but now I'm obsessed with red. Salute, Wolf Entertainment and chat. Hey, Hurricane Pyro, you're new here to me. I just finished editing a Scooby-Doo count, so I'm a bit late. It's okay, Moonwing, we're not too far. We knocked out 4 of the best Rangers, and Catherine. But now we're on Dana. So, I love Lightspeed Rescue, so believe me when I say this one's gonna hurt. Dana, going on to B. Okay, so Lightspeed Rescue is a good show. It had some great characters, but tragically, Dana was not one of them. For one big reason, she was out of focus for way too long. Dana might be one of the most forgettable Pink Rangers ever. Yeah, I know, she's also hot. She is also very good looking. But my problem is she didn't do much. That was the problem. She didn't do much. All these other ladies were very vital to the plot, but Dana was kind of just there. She was her dad's right-hand woman, Captain Mitchell. She was the daughter of the mentor figure of the Rangers, so you'd think she'd get some character depth, and Ryan was a lot more interesting than her. Her brother, Ryan, the Titanium Ranger, he died, but turned out he actually survived, and the demons had his soul, and they made him an evil ranger till they broke him, and Ryan underwent a lot more character development than, ironically, one of the core 5 Rangers. In Space was racist for leaving Carlos for a white man. In Space was racist. Yeah, Allison McGinnis. I know Allison McGinnis has appeared in a few of the National Lampoon movies, mostly because she got nude in that. Yeah, I do keep up with some of these Ranger actresses if they did naughty scenes, so yeah, watch National Lampoons if you want to see McGinnis looking good. But not as good as Maya. That was a Sentai that made a White Ranger the leader and not red, and there was another that had 12 Rangers. 12? Wow. Dana had bad timing, nothing against Allison, but look at the Pink Rangers that she was sandwiched around. Yeah, Dana was coming after both Kendrix and Corone, and then after her was Jen, one of arguably the best Pink Rangers ever from Time Force, and Dana definitely was overshadowed by better Pinks. So Dana is a combat medic. She's apparently attending college to become a doctor. Yeah, I sincerely doubt she was actually college age, but being a doctor definitely takes work. She wanted to become a actual professional doctor. She was working as a combo medic in the military. She was chosen by her dad to be the Pink Lightspeed Rescue Ranger because she actually cared about saving lives, helping people, and the Pink was basically the medic. She treated others, she was backup, she was more so a support character rather than a fighter. All the other guys and Kelsey were definitely much more eager for a scrap. Dana was kind of an assist. And unfortunately, Dana didn't get to do much. This was the huge problem I have with Dana. She doesn't get to do a whole lot. Dana is our neglected ranger. There's always one who didn't get enough focus compared to the other rangers, and tragically, that is Dana Mitchell. She didn't get a whole lot of focus. She's reacting to her family drama, reacting to her other rangers, being the supportive best friend. Her one big episode was in the limelight, and depending on who you ask, this was either her best episode or one of the worst episodes of the series. Me, I actually did kind of like it because Allison McGinnis got to show she could act and be funny. She basically gets recruited to be a glitz girl. She's a supermodel. A modeling agent notices Dana saving lives and realizes that she wants her for her magazine, and Dana decides to take up modeling to help her pay for her university, and all of it goes to her head. She becomes an arrogant and vain bitch. She's popular now. She's a celebrity. And it leads to a rift between her friends and her duties as a Power Ranger. And I actually did find this kind of interesting because it's the first time Dana actually got to show she had character. And it was pretty funny watching the friendship fallout between her and Kelsey. I actually do like their friendship in this. They're actually very close kind of sisters. But Dana, she gets an ego. It all goes to her head. She's ignoring helping people fight Trevel and Viper's latest evil scheme. And Carter eventually brings her back to Earth by pointing out that, there's still people in danger. That monster's still out there and we could use your help. And Dana finally shows some depth. She does care about helping people. She comes back to Earth and bails out on her modeling gig and defeats Trevel with her 5 friends, accepting that she wants to become a doctor and not a model. And it is honestly a pretty nice episode. I get why some people hate it because Dana does have her bitch moments in this episode, but it finally gave her something at least, and Dana is pretty much a supporting character all the way to the end. And I'm putting her on B. I know Allison McGinnis is also very attractive, but she didn't get to do a whole lot, and it honestly would have been nice if we got to see her and Carter form a romance. I believe it's implied that they did. Like, there's a flashback that shows Carter and Dana clearly on a date, but there's no confirmation if they actually hooked up, and we see Dana again. She comes back in the terrible crossover with Time Force. So Dana did become a doctor. She's like at a children's hospital, and Dana's finally happy, fulfilled. She achieved her dream. She snaps back into action, and basically the Lightspeed Rescue Rangers barely get to do anything in the crossover at Time Force. I would actually say this was the worst crossover of Rangers episodes, because Lightspeed Rescue Rangers don't get to do a whole lot. They show up, they banter, and it barely feels like they formed any friendship. Then we wouldn't see Dana again until the Megaforce event. Yes, they actually got Allison McGinnis back for Megaforce, and she and Carter are still working together saving lives. She's once again a combat medic, and we see Dana's in the lineup of all the Rangers, and we know it's McGinnis because she actually took off her helmet. Did you see that Lilo and Stitch live-action movie? No, I did not, Axel. I am not interested. I didn't even like Lilo and Stitch in animated form, so I was not interested in watching a live-action remake on a Disney movie I was lukewarm to. Thank God, Andrus and Carone, we will not repeat Star Wars mistake. Somehow, I've always known. Kat's voice actress almost was Dana Mitchell. Oh, she was, okay. They're still good female characters, bro. Lol, I still like them. Yeah, I'm not saying there are any bad female characters until we get to Operation Overdrive, but yeah. I don't think she's a bad female character at all, but I wish she did more. Like, that's the problem. Dana is just bland, underused, and severely underdeveloped. Dana had the potential to be one of the best characters ever, but she didn't get to do much, and to make matters worse, she's sandwiched in between the Pink Galaxy Rangers and Jen, one of the greatest Pink Rangers and female characters of the saga. Briefly, I don't see it. I've seen Diva Talks, a Nostalgia Critics video. Yeah, sounds like a butt injection. Lightspeed Rescue sucks. Screw you, Hurricane Paro. Lightspeed Rescue kicks butt. So, white and pink Rangers this time. That just leaves blue and green and the 6 Rangers, who are all the odd colors. Yep, and don't worry, Shadowlink, we haven't talked about Tommy Oliver yet. Haven't gotten to any white Rangers. We've been going through some of the pinks first. We're on Dana, who's going into B for bland. Dana not even being a top 3 female characters in Lightspeed didn't help. Yeah, Kelsey, Viper, and even Fairweather. Yeah, Fairweather at least did stuff for the Rangers. Fairweather was the inventor of all their gadgets, which really says a lot that the side supporting character did more than the friggin' Pink Ranger. Matara Tatsumi was her Japanese counterpart. Okay, from Go-Go 5. The only reason I like Lightspeed Rescue is because the Rangers weren't afraid to blast the bad guys with his gun. I love Dana. What the fuck are you talking about? She's not forgettable to me. Well, that's because Allison McGinnis was hot. Hi everyone, AV Scorpio, Ashley from In Space is what I meant. Yeah, Ashley was a lot more interesting. Lightspeed Power Rangers was Lightspeed better than Jungle Fury, Turbo, RPM, the Indiana Jones Rangers, those were the Overdrive Rangers, and the Magic Rangers, those were Mystic Force. Yes, I think Lightspeed Rescue was actually a good show. Kaiju Rangers had 12, the one Cosmic Fury adapted. We do not talk about Cosmic Fury in these parts, Moonwing. My personal favorite Rangers of all. Second being Yellow, back to doing a tier list, huh, Cat? Yep, Christopher. Decided to do a surprise tier list because we didn't have too many pinks and whites. We're wrapping up Dana now. Yeah, I'm here, Cat. What I miss? We're on Dana Mitchell from Lightspeed Rescue as our Pink Ranger, and she's currently on B. We talked about Cat, who's going on to A. I still remember her as that bitch who replaced Kimberly. But speaking of which, the S tiers, so far Kendrix is in the lead. She'll be dethroned quickly. We have Corone, great redemption arc. We had Cassie, also great redemption arc from a viewer standpoint. And the iconic Kimberly, all S tier pinks. So a lot more good than bad still. Sadly, she got the short end of the stick in the character's writing, despite her character's importance as daughter of the military generic guy. Yeah, that's what kind of sucked. Dana could have been so cool, but they just didn't use her all that much. They used like every other ranger but her. Lightspeed Rescue was garbage too. The way they treated Ryan was filthy work. What, Ryan becoming the Titanium Ranger and kicking ass and being there in the finale, actually knowing how to close the portal of hell? Yeah, what a terrible use of his character. Well, Power Rangers Train Force was the Japanese Sentai counterpart. There was also Sentai, one team that had CGI Rangers. Ugh, you mean that wasn't the 2017 movie? You want to see Dana and Carter? Beta. No, I wanted to see Leo and Maya hook up. Dana and Carter, I talk about them because they had a romance. That was what made her kind of interesting, that Dana and Carter grew together, and it's implied that they hooked up in Megaforce, where we see they're still working together and they're standing hand in hand next to each other during that lineup of all the past Rangers. Yeah, they did get Allison McGinnis, and they got Carter Grayson, Best Red Ranger, back together. For Megaforce, they're still rescue heroes, and I really like that about them, that the rescue Rangers are heroes on and off the clock, and they don't need their morphers to be badasses. Wild Force kind of did it better, but Lightspeed Rescue, knowing that these are Rangers who care about people, made them very interesting, which is why Dana's not rock bottom bad. Carter had an itchy trigger finger, and that's why he became my favorite Red Ranger. Mine too, he's my number one. Watch that mini quickie if you want. Kaiju Rangers was adapted horribly in Power Rangers. I think a lot of them were adapted horribly, Batkid. This is why I don't watch Power Rangers topics on YouTube. And yet you're here, Hurricane. Fully agree with the placement so far, by the way. Thanks, Shadowlink. We're finally going to get to a good pink. After Dana made no impression on us, we follow up with the best pink ranger of all time, Jen. Time Force's Jen. Yeah, you know it. She's gone on to S tier. And this might be our number one pink ranger because Jen is awesome. Jen had a lot of great character development, was practically the real leader on the Time Force team, underwent a lot of struggles, had an intriguing background, and her romance with Wes was one of the greatest of Power Rangers history, being the first Ranger romance to actually kick aside Kimberly and Tommy's. This is possibly the number one pink ranger. Jen Scott's, she's cool, she's awesome. Her actress, very talented and also very hot. Boys crushed on her, women wanted to be her. The Pink Ranger was made absolutely awesome on this series, and of course she's gonna beat all these other on S tier, but yeah, Jen might be our number one, I might say it right now. Fun fact, in High School DxD, the infamous ecchi anime light novel, there was a Power Rangers Super Sentai parody called the Satan Rangers, which made the devil leaders and the wife of the leader. Do you think a male Pink Ranger would be cool to see? I don't know. I can't see a guy wearing pink unless he was a flamboyant gay stereotype. This is still technically a boys franchise, so a male Pink Ranger will definitely be the laughing stock of the entire fandom. I think that's why the White Rangers are on here, because they kind of were the male Pink Rangers. They're not together, and Dana did something to me, otherwise she wouldn't be a Ranger in the first place. What did she do to you? Did she break your heart, Hurricane? Turbo almost canceled Power Rangers Forever. Yep, that is how bad Turbo was. Go Giant Robot. Yeah, Nostalgia Critics Turbo review. Because Saban was going broke is why they sold the rights to Disney. Yeah, that definitely helped play a part. Was one of the White Rangers a robot, or am I confused with another Power Ranger show? I think you might be thinking of Robo Knight from Megaforce. He is not on here, mercifully. Robo Knight was the Robot Ranger. He doesn't show up till Megaforce, and I don't think he qualifies as a Power Ranger. Top 10 Tommy Oliver moments or best Tommy Oliver Ranger seasons. It might be a top 5 because he wasn't in as many seasons as you think. Well, Cosmic Fury did give us the first official Orange Ranger. It should have been Boom. Boom dreamt of being the Orange Ranger. Dana and Carter in a romance my ass. Are you on drugs, Wolf? I'm Cat. You can see my avatar on the corner there. It's Cat. Wolf's not here because Wolf had a different stream to do. So, fun fact, red, blue have been the only Ranger colors to be on every team. Really, blue has too. Okay, I did not know that. I thought there was one season where they just got black and green. A tier or top to honor the actors of Tommy Oliver. Lightspeed Rescue's only issue was the seasons that surrounded it. Probably why it got overshadowed. Yeah, so I think Lightspeed Rescue is awesome, but Lost Galaxy and Time Force, they are the greatest of all time in terms of Ranger shows, and Jen definitely being a high point of that series. Jen was practically the real main protagonist. So, Jen is a time cop from the year 3000. Ransik escapes from her custody, and she and her team decide to become the new Power Rangers and go after him in the present year of 2001. Ransik travels back in time with a prison ship with a whole bunch of psychotic mutants where they plan to, you guessed it, take over the world. But Ransik will do so in the past so he can change the future into his great kingdom where the mutants rule, and Jen and the Time Force Rangers go back to stop this dark future from happening. And it's here where Jen's character arc truly begins. They recruit Wes, and Wes is a distant ancestor of her dead fiancé Alex. Alex is killed in battle and passes the morphers onto her to fulfill the mission, and Jen sees it as her duty to basically finish her job and take Ransik in herself. They recruit Wes. Wes, very clearly an immature rookie Red Ranger, leading to the classic will they, won't they romance between them. And I really like it. I really like Jen and Wes's chemistry. They're so cute together. Jen clearly grows a lot of feelings for Wes, but is kind of torn between two lovers. She wanted to get married to Alex, but Alex, as far as we know, is dead. Then when he comes back, Alex is a total dickhead, and clearly not the man she fell in love with. Alex definitely became Sentinel Prime over the years. He returns, boots Wes out, and all the Time Force Rangers pretty much hate him. It's very clear Jen is trying to see the bright side, trying to not confess that she doesn't like him anymore, and they eventually break up, and you are very glad they did. It's clear Alex is a total douche and not the person she thought he was, and she falls in love with his distant ancestor, Wes. Wes and Jen basically bring the best out of each other. They have a healthier relationship. Wes grows up, takes things more seriously, matures into a better man, and learns to care about others, uses his privilege for good. Jen convinces him to be a good guy, and in turn, Wes also brings Jen back from the dark side, brings her down to earth, helps her soften, become nicer and caring, and become the good person she truly is deep down. Jen is a defrosting ice queen, and that's why a lot of people really liked her, because the Pink Ranger gets the best character development in this show. Jen becomes nicer and learns that she's in love with Wes to the point where she decides, screw the time travel rules, she's gonna do what's right and protect Wes from the dark future where Wes and Ransik are supposed to kill each other in this fatal final battle. If Lightspeed Rescue kick, but why was Ryan off TV until the end, especially when Lost Galaxy was there? Lost Galaxy ended before Lightspeed Rescue began, guy. Lightspeed Rescue's only... Okay, read that one. Top Power Rangers romances. Yeah, that would be pretty fun. I'm dead. Okay, rest in peace, Hurricane. Can we all agree that some, if not all, the pinks are waifu material? Just like the yellows outside of the guys that were the Yellow Rangers. Am I right, boys? Yeah, Pink Ranger had some hot faces. I do agree Kimberly was hot. Cassie was also pretty. Crone is definitely somebody's crush, and I thought Kendrix was pretty hot. She was just as hot as Maya to me, and Jen made my list for a reason, because the girl playing her was also a former supermodel who turned to acting, and surprisingly, I was kind of surprised she left modeling because she still looks pretty hot. Jen was also sexy and kick-ass. Definitely I would say she was the Power Rangers equivalent to Carol Danvers. This tough, no-nonsense hard-ass who had a heart deep down, but slowly but surely became a more compassionate person. Again, like Carol Danvers back when she was an awesome character. What makes Lightspeed different is how the military get involved with the monsters. Yeah, I found that very interesting. Thanks, Anime Night, for bringing that up. James M. Lol Beta. I don't get it. Or ships. Ha ha ha. Hubba hubba hubba. No, yes, no. Yeah, I get what you're saying, James. Like Pink Time Force Ranger, aka the Bunnix of Power Rangers. Yeah, but she didn't have that cool umbrella like Alex did. Jen is clearly trash tier. No, of course not. She's absolutely S tier. Yeah, I was almost tempted to do the same joke I did with Kira, but come on, we all know Jen is awesome. Hey, Reboot Ranger, you made it just in time. We're still talking about Jen, but I'm catching up on comments. So, fun fact, in Sentai version of In Space, Black was actually the leader and not Red. Ooh, that is pretty interesting. I said this is why I don't watch Power Rangers topic, because they always talking about romances, especially the ones that's not true. Jen and Wes's romance was 100% true, Hurricane. Yuri was Jen Scott, Japanese counterpart in Mira Tentai Time Rangers. Tommy got with Kat instead of Kimberly. Yeah, but then they broke up again and now Elsa was trying to get in his pants. Erin Cahill, yeah, she was definitely hot as hell. To this day, fans are still upset Jen and Wes never kissed at the end. Fully agree, they end on a hug. Basically, that one scene, apparently Judd Lin actually wrote they did hook up, they kiss, and Jen decides to stay in the future with Wes to begin a new life with him. However, the studio went behind his back and sabotaged it, and it led to Judd Lin quitting the show. Yeah, this is why we never see Judd Lin again writing for Power Rangers until RPM. Because he was very pissed off that they threw away the romance at the end because the studio thought nobody would care. Except a lot of people did, because Jen and Wes had a great romance. They end things on basically a passionate hug. You can tell that they filmed a kiss, but then they reshot it. Jen, this is the GOAT. This is the GOAT, the GOAT, the GOAT. Hottest, hot in the crossover with Wild Force. OMG, I'm in heaven. Yeah, Jen shows up and she's wearing Laura Croft's tight leather outfit in the Wild Force crossover. Jen is for the streets when she ditched Alex for Wes, shaking my head. Alex was a dick, man. You're the kind of person who would want Catherine to hook up with Billy Zane instead of Leonardo DiCaprio in Titanic. Will you ever do a review of the Power Rangers theme songs? Oh, I actually am thinking about it, Bat-Kid. I might do top 10 best Rangers songs, though I'm not sure if people watch, or worse, copyright might try to take away that video, because Music is very much a different scenario compared to shows and movies, but I'm thinking about doing my top 10 Power Ranger themes, mostly because it's fun and will most definitely be mercifully short. Well, Super Sentai have Avataro Sentai Dawn Brothers, the Android Power Ranger. Again, I think that's Robo Knight, but I could be wrong. Have a Pink Ranger called Kiji Brother. In Sentai, they made a guy a Pink Ranger and he had a wife and also a creep. Yeah, that doesn't shock me. Beta, I'm glad it never happened. You're glad a lot of things didn't happen, Hurricane. So in Wild Force, Ninja Storm and Dino Thunder leaves no Pink Rangers. Yeah, I think that was a case of the Sentai didn't have a pink, so they kind of phased that color out for a bit. I remember when one of the female Rangers had a crush on Robo Knight because one of them said, "Wow, he is tough as bolts, barf." Yeah, Robo Knight was not a robot in the same league as Cameron or Vision. Like, how do you do it with a machine that's full-blown metal? Sadly, the world is too cynical to have a male Pink Ranger without automatically thinking he's gay. When it doesn't to me, he will be. It doesn't mean he has to be. Well, pink's also not a very intimidating color for a guy. Ranzik almost beat the Power Rangers, the villain that was the closest. Fooled by the power of love. Maybe the only defeat by love that I love. Yeah. So Ranzik did have a fulfilling character arc. I do agree, should have been punished because of what he did to Frax. But yeah, Ranzik did have a nice redemption. So anyways, back to Jen. I do think she is awesome. This might be number one because she is a badass Pink Ranger and actually made the Pink Ranger one of the most fascinating characters in this franchise. A huge step up from Dana. You definitely feel like the writers felt like they were embarrassed of how they handled Dana, so they quadrupled down on the Pink in this season. And don't forget Jungle Fury and RPM. Yeah, that's right, we didn't have a Pink in those seasons. Ranzik almost beat... Alright, read that one. At least in Power Ranger Sentai already made a male Pink Ranger. We'll see if that translates over in America. 198 bottles of water on the mall. Yeah, so it's hot here, okay? And by Sentinel Prime, you mean Transformers Animated Sentinel. Yeah, that Sentinel. The one who's an incompetent dick. Not the one who rips out all the baby T-Cogs. A better ship than Gabriel, Interrupt Adrian, and Marinette. Like, ship Wes's dad. Respect to Wes times Jen Scott. Yeah, they were a great ship. Not to be cynical, hopefully Alex was erased from the timeline, so we won't have to consider the fact that she was romantically involved with his descendant. Power Ranger romances is yuck. Yeah, so does that mean Jen is Alex's great-great-grandmother? Yeah, Wes and Jen do still have feelings for each other. So, long story short, Jen loosens up, she accepts Wes, they manage to convince Ranzik to surrender himself, and Jen completes her mission, but she does choose to return back to the year 3000 and fix the time stream. They finally part ways, and Wes is now looking forward to a bright future thanks to Jen changing his life. And then she returns in the Wild Force crossover, which was a million times better than the stupid-ass Lightspeed Rescue Time Force crossover. They actually have fulfilled character arcs. Jen comes back and she's wearing this hot leather outfit because Kahil is a supermodel, so why not? She kicks ass, fights the mutant orgs, and we get this cool reunion between Wes and Jen. The Time Force Rangers and the Wild Force Rangers team up to defeat Master Org's new mutant orgs, and we get a lot of proper conclusion to Time Force, and pretty much confirming that Jen and Wes are still seeing each other from different time periods. Not sure how a long-distance relationship like that would work, but yeah, Jen and Wes are still into each other, and it is fun seeing her kick ass, taking names, and the Time Force Rangers still got it after all these years. And tragically, that is the last time we see Kahil in the saga. I don't think she did come back in the Megaforce crossover. I know Wes did because he's there. Jason is standing in the crowd, but Jen is going on to S tier. This might be our number one Pink Ranger for certain because best character development, best acting, best dramatic storytelling, and made the Pink Ranger one of the coolest characters. So that really says a lot of how good of a character Jen is. Rangers, so she's going on to S tier. Will she be dethroned? We'll see. Jen's actress played Rebecca Chambers in Resident Evil Death Island. Oh, she did. Okay, now I have to see that. Here's a fun fact, Amy Jo, she appeared in an episode of the short love anthology series Night Visions about a hitchhiker. Yeah, I know, some people have requested me to review that. I tried watching it, but I didn't get into it. But if Amy Jo is in it, I might rewatch it. It's ironic that Starship Troopers gear that the soldiers was involved in one of the series. Jen thinks she's the female Stone Cold, treat Wes like he's Vince McMahon. As long as the only canon ones are mentioned, it should be fine. Suggestion, top 5 crossover episodes. Yeah, that one could be fun. Though, spoilers, the SBD and Dino Thunder Rangers will not be on it at all because it sucked. Bat Kid Shinobi, Whim. Yep, just like the Survivor series, the only good thing is the opening for the Power Rangers franchise. Love the Power Rangers theme songs. Yeah, those are always the best. The Android Ranger was an SPD with the Power Rangers. Was he? I don't think Sam was an android. I think it might be thinking of their dog. With Power Rangers of the Future in the final episode, the kid and the kid android from the episode in SPD became Power Rangers from the future. That is Sam. He is not a robot. Don't let his bad acting fool you, and the fact that he never leaves his outfit. Yeah, that is Sam. He is a human boy. So, fun fact, Cosmic Fury was the first with no semblance of a pink or yellow ranger. All the more reason to hate it. Yeah, I know they had a female Red Ranger in that. Power Rangers have a Power Rangers mission training at how to train their powers. Rex Ranger. Power Rangers love to give kids dreams to be Power Rangers. Well, that's what made the show fun. Unfortunately, we got examples like Justin, who are the reasons why young children should not have that armor yet. But yeah, everyone wanted to be a Ranger growing up. I had a crazy idea, Forever Pink crossover. The crossover of Time Force and Wild Force was the perfect moment to kiss and live together. Yeah, it should have been, but tragically, Judd Lynn quit by this point. Dino Thunder crossing over with Ninja Storm was better than the SPD. Oh, for sure. And the Ninja Storm Rangers were brainwashed into being evil in that. Yeah, Dino Thunder and SPD's crossover garbage. I'm still a Ranger. Yeah, you are, Reboot Ranger. I mean, if Zordon can be a Red Ranger until he's 1,000, you should be too. Also, the inspiration for a Dragon Ranger. Akira is my Yokai University OC that have a dragon gem based on the Asian zodiac animals. Okay, basing it off Tommy Oliver, because he was technically a dragon. So, in the Sentai had a team full of kid rangers. Wasn't that the Beetleborgs? Like, the Beetleborgs were actually kids who could turn into adult armored heroes? Alright, so yeah, let's wrap up Jen. She's awesome. She's going into S tier. But now we have to get to our first White Ranger, Alyssa, the Wild Force White Tiger Ranger. She is the Noble Tiger. Alright, so I actually did kind of like Alyssa. I might have to put her onto A. Yeah, I know, this might piss a lot of people off, but I actually did kind of enjoy Alyssa. She was definitely the nice girl of the team. She's the girly girl to Taylor's tomboy. But Taylor, I just didn't care for. Alyssa had a lot more interesting moments and a little more depth to her. She almost had a romance with Cole, but unfortunately that was also scrapped, and it got handled much worse than Jen and Wes's romantic finale. So this is Alyssa. She is the Noble Tiger. She's the Wild Force Ranger. Finally got our first white chick up here. Alyssa, honestly, I did actually think she was much prettier than Taylor because, yeah, she is pretty good looking. She's kind, she's compassionate, she's more or less the heart of her team. She's the nice girl, but she's also not afraid to get rough and tough. Her arch nemesis is pretty much Toxica, who she always calls Granny, just to piss her off. Alyssa definitely was a compassionate soul on her team. She cared about the animals. She actually treats Cole like a friend and is the first to reach out to him, show him the ropes, basically, around the Animarium and how the Rangers operate. Alyssa had the hardest act to follow and did the best she could given who was her predecessor. Yeah, unfortunately, Alyssa was supposed to fill the shoes after Jen left, and Jen was way too awesome to upstage, so she did kind of pale in comparison. But I thought Alyssa was pretty fine. For one thing, she actually had personality. She was the nice girl, kind of the Bubbles of her team. Bubbles, the Powerpuff Girl. She was a lot more girlier, a lot more outgoing, a lot friendlier. Alyssa had a backstory where she was in college. She wanted to become a teacher. And unlike Dana, we actually get to see her fulfill her dream at first. Alyssa is attending college while fighting evil as a Power Ranger, and it's very blatant she has a crush on Cole, and unfortunately, as I said in my Red Ranger tier list, there was a deleted scene where Alyssa and Cole got married, and I really wish they kept this deleted scene in, because it gave her a proper resolution to her storyline. Ranger Slayer, my favorite pink. She was one of my favorites because she studies martial arts. Yeah, Alyssa has the father who was a martial arts teacher. Alyssa's dad is like this pro-champion martial artist, kind of a low-key Ryu type of character. He wanted to pass on his teachings to a successor, but Alyssa doesn't want to do martial arts and karate. She wants to be a teacher, and he's afraid his legacy will die until he sees that Alyssa is using his combat teachings in her fights as a Power Ranger, and that gives him satisfaction knowing that he did part something on this world, helping the Rangers make a difference in their battle against the ultimate evil, the Orgs. And that is kind of her one spotlight episode, her and her dad's dysfunctional relationship. They make amends, they get together, and it's strongly hinted that the dad knows she's the White Ranger, but he keeps it secret. Yeah, Wild Force kind of iffy if the Rangers had secret identities or not, because they did not bother hiding whenever they morphed, but it was also very clear they had civilian lives to get back to, so a bit hazy there. Yeah, Jessica Rae played her. Like, MCU needs to hire her as the White Tiger. They should, but she's kind of too old for it now. She's the White Tiger Ranger and looks awesome. No, Beetleborgs is not even Sentai. Okay, I did not know that. Yeah, but cosplaying is very expensive, though. Depends on how good the costume is. I'm talking about the train team who are kids in the bodies of adults. Okay, Axel. My mistake, I just don't know what that is. Yeah, Jessica Rae, she was very pretty. I thought she was much prettier than Taylor. The girl kid that was an android. She was in a couple of episodes in SPD. Oh, okay, the android all the SPD Rangers were racist towards. I don't think she became a Power Ranger. She was sort of a techie on their team. It's implied she was in the Shadow character in the Portal. When the Sixth Ranger returns, Yo the Future and SPD. Oh, so Sophie Android, she had a cameo. Okay. Yeah, now I know who you're talking about. I don't think she became a Ranger, but she's not on this list. She was one of my favorites because she studies martial arts. That made her very interesting. Ranger Slayer, my favorite pink. Alyssa had the hardest act to follow. Okay, read that one. She shares birthday with Brennan Meja. Alyssa was not memorable, but was a fine Ranger. Yeah, that's why she's kind of dropped on A. Alyssa unfortunately didn't stand out. My big problem with Wild Force, none of the core 5 Rangers were all that interesting. Wild Force was a very mixed bag of a season, and it was pretty much held up by the villains. The villains were the best part. Master Org, one of the scariest and most badass Power Ranger antagonists, and we had Gindrax and Toxica, who were very funny, very amusing, and surprisingly very well developed. And we had Zen Aku, who became the 6th Ranger, Merrick the Wolf Ranger, who was easily the best Ranger in the series. Yeah, Wild Force was held up mainly by the villains. Alyssa I thought was alright. I will put her onto A because I did like her romance with Cole. My problem is, I wish they did go through with that ending where they hooked up. We were supposed to get a scene where we see them in the future, where during that Where Are They Now montage in the finale, after they kill Ultra Org, all the Rangers returned to their normal lives and gave up their wild power. We see we see where they all are now, and one of the endings had Alyssa and Cole got together. They married. They had like a family basically, and it was revealed that the entire Wild Force series was Alyssa was telling the story about her and their dad's past together to their kids. But this was altered to her being a teacher. We see an older Alyssa now a teacher, and she's telling the Wild Force like it's a fairy tale to her class, basically. And we were supposed to see that Alyssa and Cole hooked up together, but they chickened out of this completely and they didn't hook up, and I did not like that. I kind of wish they did go through with it, because it would have given them a proper happily ever after and an actual resolution, which would have made Cole and Alyssa interesting. But no, they flirted together. I guess they screwed on the side, and then they never got back in contact ever again. Yeah, Cole went off into the great unknown. Alyssa settled down and became a teacher, and I suppose she just died alone. But yeah, we'll put her on to A. I thought she was pretty awesome. Alyssa and Danny were the only Wild Force Rangers I actually liked. The other three, kind of a mixed bag, but yeah, not too bad. But we do have better White Rangers, that's for sure. I met Jessica a few years back. Oh, how was she? She shares a birthday with Viper's actress. Which Viper, Akira? Are you talking about Jennifer Yen or the Sentai girl? Hey, Jon Snow, you made it. You or Wolf seen any of the Love, Death, and Robot series? I have not. I like Rangers fighting demons. Me too, that was awesome. Sophie in SPD, it was implied as a Power Ranger. Was she? Because we don't see that happen on screen. Jessica Ray is Filipina descent with Hawaiian, Greek, Spanish, Italian, Portuguese, Russian, and Finnish descent. Wow, that is a lot. Saitega was the Alyssa Japanese counterpart. Okay. Cole, the Ranger, and Zenaku were epic. Yeah, I did kind of enjoy Cole's arc, but I didn't like it in the ending. It was like very inconclusive. They didn't kind of give him a proper finale to him. Yeah, Cole was an interesting character. I liked his past with Master Org, but the lack of finality and conclusion is what bothered me about him. Yeah, Alyssa was cool. They should have kept the marriage of Cole and Alyssa. I agree. Princess Leia was kinda hot. Shayla. Yeah, Princess Leia and Shayla. They were hot, but Shayla was useless. Sorry I missed the last few streams. Been busy with writing. It's okay, Jon Snow. We got plenty of characters to talk about. Or combine the deleted scene of her being a teacher and with Cole. Yeah, that would have made her interesting. Alright, so after Alyssa left, we wouldn't see a Pink Ranger or a White Ranger again until later. We do have Trent from Dino Thunder on here, so we'll talk about the White Dino Thunder Ranger, the first evil ranger who turned good. And yeah, Trent I will put onto S tier. Yep, Trent, the White Dino Thunder Ranger, he's on here, and I'm still watching Dino Thunder, been doing some other things, so it's why I haven't finished it yet, but I've gotten to his story arc, and yes, it is still good to this very day. Trent is sort of the new generation's Tommy Oliver. He's a mysterious loner bad boy outcast who doesn't get along with everyone. He's sort of a pseudo Harry Osborn character to Anton Mercer's Norman Osborn, a neglected son who wants his dad's approval until one day he accidentally stumbles upon the White Dino Thunder crystal and becomes possessed by the evil spirit of the White Dino Thunder Ranger. Yeah, Trent spends at least half the series being an evil Power Ranger, the White Dino Thunder Ranger, who is, I believe, a ghost possessing him, sort of like that. It's subtle foreshadowing that this is Mesogog and Anton Mercer's case, that they are being possessed and controlled by past spirits possessing these ultimate powers they're wielding. And Trent has a Jekyll and Hyde type of story. He wants to be a good guy. He realizes that the White Ranger is using him, and the White Dino Thunder Ranger is basically going off, stealing Zords, attacking the Rangers, and trying to, you guessed it, take over the world. The White Dino Thunder Ranger is a villain for at least half the series until the main Dino Thunder Rangers help break him and cut him free from the evil spirit possessing him. Sort of. Trent turns good and starts using his White Dino Thunder powers for good and helps become the 6th Ranger, technically. He is actually the 5th Ranger, but technically our 6th Ranger. He's the side bonus Ranger. And he turns over a new leaf and goes on a redemption arc, while the evil White Ranger gets his own body and becomes another villain fighting them. Kira Ford, the rocker girl, was hot. Yeah, I agree. She made it on my honorable mentions. Actually, Tommy and the Thunder Brothers from Ninja Storm were also evil rangers who turned good. Trent was the fantastic evil and White Ranger. Absolutely love the White Ranger's designs. Yeah, this guy actually pretty sick. I love his blood red visor here and his weird spikes and fangs. It's kind of hard to see, but yeah, this White Ranger had a pretty sick design, really creepy voice. You Rangers will not block my path once again. And you should join me, White Ranger, to take over the planet. Not interested, Dino. Yeah, he was pretty cool. Had like this Shadow the Hedgehog type of voice. So, fun fact, in the Sentai, Trent's counterpart didn't turn good until the last 3 episodes, and then he died. Yeah, very glad that was changed in the American version. Cole, listen to the heart, it never lies. Like, this is what Purple Tigress outfit should have been in Miraculous. Should have been, but they didn't. So, fun fact, in the Sentai, Trent's counterpart didn't turn good. Yeah, he turned good in the last 3 episodes and he died. Kind of glad they retconned this. So Trent is the 6th Ranger, but he's the 5th guy to join the team. Yeah, the Dino Thunder had a much smaller cast. It was originally just the trio. It was the red, blue, and yellow Ranger, but then Tommy became the Black Ranger, and he was definitely there helping them. And Trent is sort of our 6th Ranger. He's the aloof one. He's the new guy. He's the one with OP powers, and he eventually joins them. He turns over a new leaf, he gets redeemed, and helps them defeat Mesogog. He finds out his dad, Anton Mercer, was Mesogog all along. He keeps it a secret at first because Anton Mercer's his dad, and this is kind of his character arc. He's trying to redeem himself and redeem his father, prove that Anton Mercer is a good guy, and that they can save him from the corrupting influence of Mesogog. Yeah, in a bizarre twist, Anton Mercer is not actually evil, but he too is possessed by an evil spirit, Mesogog. Mesogog, the creepy Dino Man, is controlling Anton Mercer and using his resources to carry on his plan to have dinosaurs rule the world once more. No, it wasn't a ghost, it was the White Dino Gem energy. Yeah, but it's kind of a spirit because technically the White Ranger's not alive unless he's possessing Trent. He's played by Jeffrey Perazzo. Okay. Oh, and he's in the Ninja Steel crossover. That's pretty cool. Unfortunately, I never watched Ninja Steel. The Rangers didn't help him turn good. It was his dad that turned him good. Okay. So yeah, sorry, I am kind of generalizing a lot because we have so many characters. He's also Filipino and Italian descent. Okay, that's why he kind of looked like a male Alyssa. The evil White Ranger is just a robotic clone of the dark energy of the White Dino Gem. Yeah, that's what happened. The evil White Ranger spirit breaks free and got his own robot body, and he is not as cool once he's detached from Trent. It's very clear Trent was the one who had all the power and strength, and the evil White Ranger, once he got his own body, became kind of a joke. He was not as threatening, not as menacing, and Trent finally defeats him, and evil White Ranger is gone for good, while Trent becomes the heroic White Dino Thunder Ranger, and has this very great morality quest, trying to find himself, trying to save his dad, trying to be a good guy, and of course, they eventually kill Mesogog, free Anton Mercer, and Anton and Trent become a good, healthy father and son relationship, and he encourages Trent to pursue his art career. Yeah, Trent is the artist. He likes drawing, and this helps him bond with Kira because they're both the outcast artists nobody understands. Which, very cute romance, and again, very, very close to resembling Tommy and Kimberly from the original saga. So they were definitely a generation's Tommy and Kimberly. Sorry, catch up on comments. Did he do Green Rangers already? No, we did not, Jon Snow, so don't worry. Tommy Oliver's not done with us yet. Mikoto Nakadbear and Aber Killer. Okay. Love Dino Thunder. Grew up with that series back in the 2000s. Great to bring back Jason David Frank as the Black Ranger and showing him taking on his previous incarnations. Yeah, that episode was a massive fan favorite. Was interesting to have a White Ranger clone. If only they did more with him and Trent's rivalry, but instead it's mostly with the clone against Connor, aside from that one final fight. For real, Bat Kid. It's Morphin time. Hello. Hey, Morgan Ryder. Just catch up on comments. You should have done a Green and Black Rangers tier list. Yeah, I probably should have, but hey, at least the green one might be short. Tori from Ninja Storm was super hot. I'm not surprised if she was a model. Yeah, the surfer chick, she was very beautiful. Though we are saving her for another time. Also, Trent's weapon have the laser arrows. Dulcia was hot in the first Power Rangers movie. Yeah, I do think so. You're talking about the cave woman looking girl. Yeah, she was definitely hot and pretty much put in there for fan service. Wait, where's Tommy? He's a White Ranger. He's down here. I'm thinking about saving him for last just because of how awesome he was. But yeah, Trent, going on to S tier, the Dino Thunder show is awesome. It is a classic, and he had one of the greatest character arcs in the show, to the point where he kind of overshadowed Ethan and Kira. But yeah, I do think Trent is awesome. We'll put him on to S tier for sure, because he made the White Ranger stand out as a great character. Got our first White in S tier, and appropriately, it is from Dino Thunder. Also, yes, Trent did show up for Megaforce, but did they actually get him? I did not see pictures of Pizarro without the mask. The first Black Power Rangers is trying to learn Spanish. So what if Dino version of Jekyll and Hyde pop culture had a kid with a similar condition in Power Rangers? Not sure what you're trying to say there. Also in Dino Thunder, Sentai counterpart, the Zords could actually talk, and the motorcycles did not exist in the Sentai. Yeah, I remember Dino Thunder did a parody of the Japanese version of the show. That one was pretty funny, like actually talking to their morphers, and the American version phased this out. It was kind of a love letter to the Sentai version of the show, showing how they and Power Rangers were on good terms. White Ranger, Dino Power. Oh, Trent did show up in Ninja Steel. Okay, I have not watched Ninja Steel, so can't add much there. Also, Trent was in, okay, Ninja Steel. Thank you. Ninja Steel crossover. Okay, I have not watched Ninja Steel, so I can't really comment on that. Also in Dino Thunder, yeah, their motorcycles did not exist. Also, the Black Ranger's actor didn't age in all these years, and the pink is still hot. Oh, you mean Kimberly, Amy Jo Johnson? Yeah, I saw her in the movie, and she looked a lot hotter than 2017 Kimberly. But yeah, Trent going on to S tier. First White Ranger, and we got a good one. So, back to our pinks. We have Sid, Pink SPD Emergency. Oh boy, I'm gonna upset some people, but Sid going on to C. So, I just didn't care for Sid. She was not all that interesting. She had like 2 episodes in the grand scheme of things, and Z was very clearly the hotter, more badass female ranger. Z and Dr. Cat, but Sid, I don't know, she just didn't do anything for me. I found her a lot more unlikable than Dana ever was, but Sid is our pink SPD Ranger, and basically, she's a Barbie girl. She's the hot girl, she's popular, she's the lovable alpha bitch, she's very vain, she's girly, she wears dresses, she loves pink, has a stuffed animal collection despite being in her, like, mid-20s. She's cool, she's kick-ass, she's suave, basically a living Barbie girl. She was supposed to be the hot chick of SPD, but Z and Dr. Cat were very clearly much hotter than her, and her personality did not help. She was kind of more the immature one. She was a lot more childish, acting like a popular high school mean girl in a team of basically young adults fighting evil monsters from space. And I don't know, I just didn't really like Sid all that much. It didn't help that her first episode, she was being a jerk to their robot dog. Because both Mercer and Trent have an evil split personality. Yeah, that's why. Sentai actors don't seem to age at all. Oh, that's great blood for you. Sid was okay, but she's kind of B-tier Power Rangers waifu that can beat Ryuko in Elemental waifu tier list. The rich girl, nope, C is being generous. I like adult Morgana. She is the hottest. Me, I prefer Dr. Cat, because you all know why. Also, a lot of my fans tell me that they thought Z was the hotter of the core Rangers, because Z was actually a cool tomboy and very lovable. Sid, very much an ice queen. She was supposed to get nicer, become more friendly with all the other Rangers. She, very much full of herself, egotistical, arrogant, hates dirt. Her first spotlight episode, she shows care for the robot dog. The robot dog is very old and obsolete and falling apart, and Sid very coldly says they should just scrap him, but the dog ends up taking a laser shot for her, and Sid does show a softer side and a kinder side. She realizes that the trashy robot dog saved her life, and she decides to return the favor, and it's sort of her redemption arc that, despite her icy mean girl front, Sid does have a heart, and she is a compassionate ranger deep down. And Sid ends up saving their robot dog and giving him an upgrade and learning to cherish others, and then she reverts back to bitch mode in her birthday episode. Yeah, this kind of solidified me not liking Sid. Her birthday episode, we see Sid glam herself up, show off how hot she is, and then she reveals that she didn't invite any of the SPD Rangers to her birthday party. Yeah, this is supposed to make her funny and likable. She point blank tells the Rangers of SPD she didn't invite any of them to her birthday party because she didn't want them, and it's just kind of mean. That's kind of why I don't like Sid. Her mean side heavily overshadows her kinder and softer moments, and it did not make me like this Pink Ranger. Sid is supposed to get nicer. She's forced to bond with Jack, who's the street urchin, the homeless kid. Jack and her form an odd friendship. I believe some people ship them together, but Z clearly much better for him. They hook up and bond, and it suddenly turns into a Jack plot where Jack's never had anyone celebrate his birthday, so Sid does something nice and actually bonds with him, and Sid, of course, finally relents and invites the SPD Rangers to her birthday party, but the fact that she didn't do that at all, despite being at least 1/3 the way into the show, kind of rubbed me the wrong way. Dr. Cat, top hot cat alien. Yep, best alien hot ranger and a hot character. Love Dr. Cat. So she's the girly stereotype. Yeah, she is, Batkid. She is the girly stereotype. She's the effeminate one, kind of the popular girl. She's basically kind of like a high school girl who never really grew up, despite getting a job in SPD. So, to Sid's credit, she does become nicer. She does start following orders, and basically her lesson is she has to stop being egotistical and think about others. She forms an odd friendship with Jack and Z. She respects Sky. Sky respects her, and they treat Bridge as like he's actually a true ranger and stop treating him like the weirdo of the group. But Sid just didn't grow on me. I did not really care for her. She's not the worst ranger ever, but we'll be sticking her on to C. And was a role at Kendra in Supernatural. Okay, she was in other stuff. Allie Armstrong, who played the Rangers, she was a wedding planner. Okay, her Koyum Kodu is her Japanese counterpart. I apologize if I'm butchering that. From her Sentai Deca Ranger. And she isn't blonde. No, because they're all Japanese. Also her power, molecular alteration, which is cool. That makes her Ryuko from Miraculous run for her money. Dr. Cat number 1, Adult Morgana number 2, and the Yellow Ranger Z, she's 3rd. Dr. Cat's counterpart is a Swan girl. Yeah, I know that. Swan hot. Unless you watch The Swan Princess. Sam in 20 words or less. Sam has no character. He's a ball of light. Next. Yeah, let's knock off the worst White Ranger. Sam from SBD, who's gone into the trash. Okay, so Sam could have been a great character, but the problem with him, he has no character. Sam is a lot more interesting when we see him as a kid. Sam basically has superpowers. He's treated like a mutant freak. Z bonds with him and relates with him and convinces Sam to not be evil. Morgana tries to win him over to her side using his powers for her own manipulations and schemes, and it turns out Sam realizes that Morgana's not really his friend. He betrays her and sides with Z, and in the future he grew up to become the Omega Ranger, who is just a White Ranger. Sam became the Omega Ranger, and his adult self time travels back in time in SPD to stop a tragic event where Grum wins. Grum is going to win in the future and basically murder the SPD Rangers, but with him there, he can help fix the timeline and use his own Ranger powers to help them basically defeat the bad guys. And unfortunately, Sam had zero character. He's like a ball of light for most of his appearances. We never see his human form until 2 seconds in the finale, and the guy playing him basically acts like Zane. He's like Zane, the Silver Space Ranger. He's the fun guy, the party dude, has a lot of sassy and wit to him, but no personality, no depth. He doesn't do anything. It never feels like he changes as a character or he had to learn a lesson or something. It's just, he's the backup ranger, and that's it. And we never even see his human form until 2 seconds in the finale. Yeah, Sam sucks. He's gone in the trash. Okay, Sam only has cool powers. Yeah, that was pretty much what defined him. Michelle Langston is Cat's actress. Yeah, I really loved her. We get Swan Shiratori is Dr. Cat's Japanese counterpart. Yeah, she is. Summer is a much better than Sid as a person. Fully agree. Summer was a much better female character in every way. Sam's outfit is really cool. Yeah, the Omega Ranger, it does look pretty cool. Unfortunately, the character is what holds him back. Sam's Sentai counterpart is an actual character. That does not surprise me. Tekken Ira was his best Japanese counterpart. So apparently, if it wasn't for the White Ranger stock footage, Sam would have never even been in the show. Yeah, it was kind of only in there because they needed to make up for all the Sentai footage. And they did not want to write a 6 Ranger character. You could really feel that in SPD. Sam, great potential, wasted execution. Yep. Z and Sam should have had more friendship moments together. That was a missed opportunity. Fully agree, Shadowlink. They could have had a great storyline, but they didn't. But Sam is lame with an OP weapon. Yeah, he has OP skills until the finale where Grum starts winning, of course. Then the Shadow Ranger got to be the hero in that. Yeah, basically Sam is the backup to SPD until he returns home when the Nova Ranger shows up. The Nova Ranger isn't even on this list because she barely did jack. Yeah, they just return, we get 2 seconds of Sam's human form, and that is the end of his story. Worst White Ranger ever. Why doesn't Sam have an assault gun? Because that would have been badass. The story of Blue and Red SPD Ranger development in SPD was cool. Yeah, Blue, Red, and the Shadow Ranger Kruger were the best developed of SPD. The Omega Morpher is OP. Do you think Sam should have gotten a super mode? The Nova Ranger is a Silver Ranger. Yeah, so we might see her on the 6 Rangers list. But yeah. So, Sam could have been a cool character, but he just wasn't. He's gone straight into the trash. Alright, so let's bump off some characters I don't know. Let's get rid of... Here we go. Now I'm starting to recognize someone. I think this is Amelia from Dino Fury. This one, I've never watched Dino Fury. I don't know enough about Amelia. So she's going on to our first question mark so we can fill all the slots. While we're also on SPD, we'll also stick the A Squad Pink Ranger into the trash. And we'll put her above Sam because the A Squad was at least cool. Okay, so this is a character who's like had only a few seconds. This is the A Squad's Pink Ranger, and the big twist with A Squad, they turned evil. They joined Emperor Grum and backstabbed the Earth and side with him during the invasion, completely throwing SPD away and trying to assassinate the B Squad. They capture Kruger and they try to exterminate their replacement squad. She had like only a few scenes, but Charlie was more or less the character who talked for all of them, while the others were kind of flat characters. So I do like this character in concept, but she was not really a character, and I don't think it'd be fair to put her higher than the characters they actually tried to use. So yeah, evil A Squad Pink Ranger in the trash because she sold out humanity. Speaking of which, let's also put in Rose from Operation Overdrive into the trash. Yeah, shocker! Operation Overdrive Pink Ranger, awful. She is awful. Like, all the Operation Overdrive Rangers, they suck. They're unlikable, they're selfish, and they are far from noble heroes. This is Rose. She's a child prodigy who's also kind of a bitch, and she's the Pink Overdrive Rangers, and none of the Overdrive Rangers are good, okay? They all suck. We all know they suck. They're gonna be in the trash, and Rose definitely fared better than the others. She had an interesting backstory, but really did nothing. She did like a lot less than Sam, despite her child prodigy background. Yeah, apparently she's a great genius at only 4 years old, and she accomplished a lot of stuff, and decides to use her genius to commit crimes until she becomes the Overdrive Pink Ranger, and I guess undergoes a redemption arc, but none of the Overdrive Rangers are likable at the start, and none of them are likable at the finish. Trash, trash. Pretty much mostly every character, especially the Rangers, belong in the trash. Yeah. The A Squad Blue Ranger never got a single line. Yeah. She only had one line, which was, "Your second choice?" Yeah, kind of a lame pink in that regard. So there's a fan theory that Omega is Sam's last name. Sam Omega, that is kind of weird. I think the robot in the white character someone mentioned might be Zane, the white titanium ninja from Ninjago. Amelia actually became the Red Ranger in Cosmic Fury. Okay, she did. Alright. But we're putting in her question mark because I have not seen those shows. She only... Sorry, just catch up on comments. The A Squad Blue Ranger never got a line? Yeah. Before you say Vita from Mystic Force is hot only because I love tomboy girls, I understand that. Talking about attractiveness. Yeah. Operation Overdrive Rose, she's gone in the trash. Rose is the tech girl. That is worse one that have chameleon powers like invisibility. Yeah, you think they would have done more with that, but nope. Overdrive Pink Ranger, boring. Rhonda Montoya-Mayer is an actress and dancer. Red Overdrive Ranger robot, the only redeeming factor. Yeah, you're talking about Mac. That was the only thing that made him interesting, but the Overdrive Rangers are all trash. Her first role was Tiger Lily from Finding Neverland. Oh, good for her. Storyline, and was a Puma in football. Okay, so... Alright, let's get to Mystic Force. Gonna break a few hearts, but Vita also going on to C, but we'll put her above Sid. This is Vita. I did watch the recap of Mystic Force. Vita is a tomboy who became a Pink Ranger, and her character arc is basically she hates the color pink and has to grow to like it. Yeah, that is actually a fundamental part of this character. Vita is a tomboy who became the Pink Ranger, and she slowly but surely grows up, accepts the power, and learns to accept the pink energy into her heart. And unfortunately, like Sid and Dana, Vita didn't get a whole lot to do. None of her parents were taken by Optimus the Master and brainwashed into a Lovecraft monster, and she sort of had a romance with, I believe, one of the Rangers. I can't remember if it was the Mystic Yellow or Xander, but yeah, Vita just didn't get a whole lot to do. Sakura Nishihori was a better version of her. Vita, aka the Vampire Pink Ranger. Also, she's a DJ. Angie Diaz is her actress. Yeah, we got Vita, another Hispanic Ranger. At least I think so. She might be from New Zealand, but Vita honestly could have been a cool character. She's the buttercup of her Power Rangers team. She's a tomboy. She likes to fight. She hates the color pink. I heard a lot of LGBT fans love her because they theorize she might be bisexual or a lesbian or something. She does kind of fit the stereotypes, but honestly did not make her interesting. Vita, I did not really care for. She's exactly like Sid. They made her a one-note girl stereotype, but this time it's just the tomboy. She could have been so cool because a tomboy forced to be the Pink Ranger definitely has a lot of fun comedy material and could have been interesting, but that's her kind of character arc. She learns to love the color pink. Vita, the vampire tomboy hot girl. She can turn me into a vampire. Yeah, I'll just say it. I know many like Mystic Force, but I did not like it that much. It's a slightly above average as a whole, and the Rangers were meh, except Nick, who I absolutely despise. Yeah, Mystic Force kind of undercooked. The show did not do a whole bunch with its characters, and a lot of them were kind of simple and generic because I believe at this point, Disney was trying to make Power Rangers just for kids. It was basically a Monster of the Week story, and none of them really underwent deep, profound character development, and that is kind of the problem. Vita I'm putting on to C because she is one of the Rangers to suffer that. And yes, Nick was pretty pathetic, not gonna lie. I do not regret putting him in the trash. If I remember right, Rose from Operation Overdrive, she knows her history, which can be used to find gems. Doesn't mean she's likable. Makes sense why she's in the team, unlike Yellow and Blue. Yeah, it makes sense, but it didn't really make her likable either. The Red Mystic Ranger sucks. Yeah, I saw Nick is bad. Like she's in a Sprite Ranger. In Mystic Force ending, when Lily's mom returns to normal, Green states she's hot, which Pink says, yeah. Yeah, I noticed that. Vita was checking her out the moms, which is kind of weird. I can see LGBT fans liking her, but unfortunately we're judging them based on deep, profound characters and how badass they were as Pink Rangers and White Rangers. And Vita, definitely not a high mark. She's going on to C. Speaking of which, we also have Udana, the sorceress. So, Udana was pretty cool. I might put her on B. But yeah, not exactly high praise. This is Udana, the Mystic Force sorceress. She was the White Ranger of her time period. Udana actually did have an interesting backstory. Her family was destroyed by Optimus's forces. Spoilers, we find out they're actually alive and well, but she doesn't know that, and she recruits the new kids to be her modern-day Mystic Rangers. And we do see the mentor figure is a Power Ranger in this universe. Yeah, taking a note out of SPD, they are having the mentors be a lot more proactive in the action, and Udana pretty kick-ass. She's this mysterious white mage, and appropriately, she's the White Ranger of the Mystic Force team. Yeah, Rita Repulsa appears in Mystic Force. She's the Mystic Mother, which honestly kind of disappointed me because I thought Rita Repulsa would have been the mentor to them, but no, it's Udana, who's a friend of the Mystic Mage. Udana was fine and was a decent mentor. Hell, most of the side characters had more character than the actual Rangers themselves. Yeah, they did. The Optimus's villain circle actually had a lot more deeper character development than they did. R.I.P. Peter Rudder. She needs to be respected since her actress died. Yeah, okay, we'll put her on B, but I still think Dana is a bit more likable. But Udana, she could have been interesting, but she was basically the character who had the most going for her. We'll put her on to B, right smack in the middle. Not god-awful like Operation Overdrive Ranger, but also not super high in my book. Yeah, Rita Repulsa is the Mystic Mother. It made me kind of wish she was actually the mentor figure, since seeing Rita back in the saddle was great. I remember hearing, yeah, okay, Vita said she hates pink, yet in the finale she dyed her hair pink. Yeah, that's her character development, Anime Nights. Team Mystic Force was useless. Yeah, almost as bad as the Overdrive Rangers. Mystic Force's ending, yeah, okay, I read that one. Just catch up on comments. Like, she's a mother and a white ranger. Yeah, pretty good representation that she's also a badass mom. So, pretty fun character. Udana definitely had a lot more going for her than friggin' Vita. So, in the Sentai version of Mystic Force, all the rangers were family. Oh, that would have been cool to see in the American version. Speaking of Operation Overdrive, I believe this is Tyson, the Mercury Ranger from Jungle Fury, sorry. Yeah, is this the Rhino Ranger? I think this is him. Or this could be Dominic. Yeah, I don't know who this is. Is this Dominic or the Rhino Ranger? This is the Jungle Fury White Ranger, I do know that. I might have to stick him onto question mark because I don't know it. I don't know the show very well. I think this is the Rhino Ranger just because of the horn, but again, I've never watched Jungle Fury. Someone can appreciate that someone is pretty without being attracted to them. Yeah, I agree, Brat Kid. I think Kendricks is pretty, but Maya was definitely my type. Udana lost a child. I want to die and forfeit all. Miyuki Ozu was her Japanese counterpart. She has ice powers. The Genie Cat. Yeah, I know him, the Cheshire Cat looking guy. Okay, that is Dominic. Okay, thank you, Shadowlink. Yeah, unfortunately, never watched Jungle Fury, so Dominic will be in question mark. I heard some people actually do like him, though. Like, Mystic Force is cool with a rap show. They're talking about their theme. Here come the Power Rangers! Here come the Power Rangers! Here come the Power Rangers! Mystic Force! Yeah, that was at least a lot more tolerable than Overdrive's rap theme. Like Miraculous should have been Sabine as the Ladybug holders. Okay, that is Dominic. Thank you, guys. That is the Rhino Ranger. Unfortunately, don't know Jungle Fury well. He will be on question mark. So next came Mia from Samurai. Mia might have to stick her on to C. So one of my friends has like a huge crush on her because, yeah, she is very pretty. This is Mia from Power Rangers Samurai. I have not actually watched Samurai. I did watch Linkara's video on it, and yeah, honestly, she kind of stuck out as one of the nicer of the Rangers, but a bit bland. Basically, she's the nice girl, she's the heart. I believe she's related to someone very important in the show. The Samurai outfits honestly look pretty cool, but Mia did not really lay that huge an impression on people, and me in particular, who's been in and out of Samurai, I will put her on to C, but she's a lot more likable than Sid, that's for sure, but not one of my all-time favorite pinks. He is the Dino Ranger. Like he's better than Kim from Miraculous. Okay, that is Dominic's character. Skull's son Spike has a crush on her. Not surprised, she does look like Jennifer Yen a lot. The one funny moment of Dominic is how in one episode he pretended to get a health inspector. Also how he was paired with Fran, one of the most popular allies of the Rangers. Nicholas Nikolai was an Australian actor. I meant the Rhino Ranger. Okay. So after her came Emma from Megaforce. Emma, I also might have to stick into the trash because she was not very interesting. The Megaforce show is bad, and the Ranger lineup definitely reflected its low quality. So, I know, people also had a crush on Emma because she's the hot Asian chick, so of course they did, but Emma was just boring. She was boring, okay? She didn't do anything. She didn't really stick out. She didn't have that compelling a character arc, and I think most of her scenes are her shipping Gia with the dumb Black Ranger. She was like shipping her best friend to hook up with the Black Ranger, and that was pretty much it. She didn't get to do much. What's your opinion on Bulk and Skull, legendary funny duo Power Rangers actors? Okay, so Bulk and Skull definitely have their funny moments, but I'm kind of annoyed by them in Mighty Morphin, and especially Turbo. Have not watched Zeo, so that might change my mind, but Mighty Morphin definitely have their funny moments. I get what they're going for. They have their annoying moments too, but mostly because of how juvenile they are. I do agree, though, that In Space made them a million times better with their great Spartacus moments. She's a nature-loving airhead. Really? Yeah, sorry, that does not impress me. Emma's gone in the trash. Emma's actress. Megaforce was lame. Yeah, fully agree, Moonwing. Everybody has that stance. Mia Watanabe was a cool one. Alright, so, sorry guys, Emma's gone into trash because everything about Megaforce is also awful. Next came Shelby from Dino Charge. I apologize, Shadowlink. I have not watched Dino Charge, so she's also gone into question mark. This is Shelby the Dino Charge Pink Ranger. All I know is this was the one that had the wizard who gave powers to dinosaurs, and she was chosen to be the Pink Dino Ranger, and that's where my knowledge of her ends. Going on to question mark. Have not seen Dino Charge or Dino Fury yet. So yeah, both of these, question mark. And our last one I don't recognize, Sarah from Ninja Steel, the Ninja Steel Pink, also gone on to question mark. Have not watched Ninja Steel. The Nickelodeon shows have not impressed me, and I have no drive to actually watch those shows, so sorry if you were hoping for me to give my thoughts on them. Speaking of which, we should also get rid of Haley, the White Ranger from Ninja Steel, who I've also never seen, going on to the question marks. Eri was her Super Sentai counterpart. Okay, good to know. Yeah, sorry, have not watched Dino Charge, Dino Fury, or Ninja Steel, so they're unfortunately going into the unknown category. Don't know much about them. I heard some people actually thought they were decent characters. Shelby apparently has a huge fan base, but don't know anything about the other two. So, yeah, looks like we knocked off all the unknowns. Alright. Here's the big question. Do you hate Kimberly 2017 more than Rose? Well, I'll answer that soon enough. Alien Ranger, trash. Oh, you don't like the Alien Ranger? Alright, so I'll bump her off. Also going in the trash. I am so sick to death about talking about the Mighty Morphin Alien Rangers because they were pretty much substitute Power Rangers. So, this is the White Alien Ranger. She was one of the females on the team, and unfortunately, the Alien Rangers did not leave any impression on me at all. Like, they were just not very interesting characters, and all their existence was to show you that alternate Power Rangers do exist in this universe. They're Rangers from the far reaches of space, and they come as basically temporary replacements when the Mighty Morphin crew are turned into children. Yeah, that is it. They are substitute Power Rangers. Definitely give Dino Charge a watch. When you can, I would also put Shelby in A in case you're wondering, liked her character, as I did Tyler, plus they both had a romance. Well, okay, I guess I don't see a problem. I will put her on low A, but we could put Shelby onto A tier for you Dino Charge fans. Psycho Rangers B? Alien Rangers were forgettable. Yeah, that is their big problem. I have to remind myself that the Mighty Morphin Alien Rangers are on these tier lists. They had like 10 episodes where basically they were filler heroes. I believe this was because all the kid actors had to go back to school, so they had to step away from shooting. So the Alien Rangers took their place, and they're substitute Power Rangers. That's all they are. They're substitute Power Rangers, and they didn't really get too much to do as characters because the Mighty Morphin crew were supposed to come back eventually. Or C. Also, Shelby is Camellia Hydral. Okay. Alright, so getting a lot of defenders for Shelby. We'll put her on to A tier, but I will put her on low A just because I don't recognize her. Sorry if that pisses you off, but be lucky we're counting her. Anyways, Mighty Morphin, Alien Ranger, White Ranger, total trash. They're all forgettable. So let's get our last bad one out of the way. Kimberly Ann Hart from the 2017 Power Rangers reboot movie. Yep, once again, we're talking about it. Kimberly going down in the trash. And she's only one above because Operation Overdrive was a horrendous piece of crap. So, Kimberly is completely butchered. I hate what they did to Kimberly in the movie. Exactly like Zack, they completely bastardized this character. Kimberly is a mean girl. She is a smug, arrogant, popular girl on the cheerleading squad who basically cyber-bullied a rival girl and posted nude pictures of her on the World Wide Web. They do hint that Kimberly feels bad because she sees the parents are crying in the principal's office and complaining, and it's supposed to be a redemption arc. Kimberly gets a redemption arc, and that is a sentence I should never have to say. Kimberly goes from the nice girl next door, the ace in everything, the all-American girl who cares about everyone and everything, into an idiot bully. Yes, Kimberly is an idiot bully. She is very vain, very arrogant, does not treat the Rangers like their friends until they undergo their character's journey into heroes. And I had a very hard time buying that Kimberly change, especially because during the Megazord fight, she laughs at destroying her rival Mean Girl's car. Go watch Kagu Ranger. They got their own Evil Rangers team. The monsters are dangerous. Yokai the skeleton guy is a cool bad guy. And the Rangers are much better. Yeah, there's a lot of shows I need to see. Okay, she was Naomi Davenport in Lab Rats Elite Force. Never saw it. I like Dino Charge. Okay, Moonwing. I know you do. You defended it as a good show. Might give it a watch then. What's your opinion on Billy, the epic Blue Ranger? Definitely S tier, but that's a list for another time. Amy Yuzuza was her Japanese counterpart. Also, Amelia Jones, spoilers, is an Alien Ranger. Not my Kimberly, definite trash. Yeah, this is not Kimberly. She's played by the chick who played live-action Princess Jasmine in that Aladdin movie. You know, the terrible one with Will Smith as the genie. Yeah, of course you don't remember, because that movie was also forgettable trash, just like her Ranger movie. Yeah, no, Kimberly was happy that the girl she's bullied got her car smashed. Yeah, that was awful of her. Like, Kimberly is an idiot bully, and that's something I should never say, that Kimberly, friggin' Kimberly, is reimagined as a bully. She is a mean girl, and you do not buy her redemption arc. Basically, defrosting Ice Queen. She becomes softer, becomes a friend of the loser outcast Rangers, comes down to Earth, and weirdly, they kind of ship her with Jason and even Trini, and I do not want to see Kimberly and Trini hook up, unless it was Tweed Trung and Melissa and Amy Jo Johnson having a kiss, but yeah. I do not want to see Kimberly and Trini form a romance, and allegedly, Kimberly was going to have a lesbian romance because Tommy Oliver might have been a female in the sequel that never happened. Yeah, I'm kind of glad that didn't happen now. Like, gender-bending Tommy into a girl sounds like a stupid idea, but that was allegedly a rumor, so I can't prove it, but in the movie, Kimberly's awful. She's a mean bitch. She lightens up by the end of the movie and laughs at destroying the rival Mean Girl's car, which shows you that she has not evolved at all. Do not like Kimberly. She belongs in the trash. They ruined the best girl just as bad as Trini. Billy was my favorite in the 2017 movie. Yeah, I actually did like Billy, but because you felt sorry for him. And I did like Jason because Jason actually had character development. Yeah, Billy and Jason suffered the least amount of damage in that movie, but Trini, Zach, and especially Kimberly, bastardized, going right in the trash. Hey, I'm back from making some lo mein. It was delicious, by the way, what I miss, Cat. We're wrapping up 2017 Kimberly, who's in trash, barely above Operation Overdrive's Rose, but that's because Overdrive was painful from beginning to end. Psycho Rangers or Cat next. We'll do Psycho Pink. Asuna was her Ninja Steel counterpart. Yeah, Kimberly was pretty much happy that she destroyed that Mean Girl's car. Yeah, she sucks. Going in the trash. But let's talk about something good. Psycho Pink, who is going on to S tier. Yeah, I know, but the Psycho Rangers are awesome, and Psycho Pink belongs on S tier because she achieved the impossible. She actually succeeded at killing a Power Ranger. Psycho Pink is the one who murdered Kendrix. Well, technically Kendrix sacrificed herself, but Psycho Pink played a direct role in her demise. So, Psycho Pink, pretty badass character. The Psycho Rangers, they're creepy, they're menacing, they're very interesting villains, they're all badass, and they are the ultimate evil counterparts to the Power Rangers, and of course, the pink one is going up on here. What I love about Psycho Pink is, basically, she's a total psycho who tries to hide her craziness. She wears that thing on her visor to keep her energy under control because too much pink energy is dangerous. Psycho Pink has one spotlight episode at first where she and Psycho Yellow double team Ashley and Cassie, but Psycho Yellow backstabbed her, completely betrays her friend, and they have this sort of friendship fallout, which definitely made Pink very interesting, because Pink actually trusted Psycho Yellow and was shocked that she betrayed her. They have a falling out, and it leads to a fight where Psycho Pink accidentally blows them up, and it destroys her visor, which kept her pink energy into check, and caused her to completely unload. She completely melts down, goes on a rampage, and finally reveals that the Psycho Rangers are monsters underneath this armor. Psycho Pink, if you can't tell, is actually a plant monster under her demon armor. She has like these weird wild vines, has this flower head, and this creepy evil voice that makes her sound like a guy. Very creepy. Psycho Pink is the first Psycho Ranger killed. However, ironically, she would also be the last Psycho Ranger standing when she returned in Lost Galaxy. So, we get to the power of Pink. After To the 10th Power, one of the greatest crossover episodes, by the way, Psycho Pink is killed in the explosion, except she actually barely survived that. Deviant and Shrekino repair her, try to get her to finish the Rangers, but she steals this magical sword which gives her power and enhances her pink energy, proving that too much pink energy is dangerous. This sword gives her superpowers the more she attacks people. Its slashes can empower her, and she grows into a Super Saiyan Psycho Ranger, leading to Kendrix's death. Kendrix heroically sacrifices herself to destroy Psycho Pink's power, and Psycho Pink dies for good this time. But Psycho Pink succeeded at the impossible. She killed a Power Ranger. Through indirect means, but yeah, Kendrix died. Psycho Pink at least got a kill in the end, which is why she's going on to S tier. Psycho Rangers were more likable than the Overdrive Rangers. Yeah, that is saying a lot. Naomi Scott is her actress. She is Princess Jasmine in the Aladdin 2019, and Smile 2 is Sky. That's right, there was a Smile 2. Psycho Pink is crazy, like remind me of some crazy pink cat. Yeah, she does remind you of Nigga Cat, doesn't she? Psycho Ranger Cat. We did Psycho Pink. So, yeah, I like Psycho Pink. All the Psycho Rangers are in S tier, and even individually, they are all cool characters because they surprisingly got deep character. Psycho Pink managed to kill a Power Ranger, so that's what got her onto S tier. But, final two. Who do you guys want? Tommy or Dr. Cat? Sorry, just refreshing. So, Ooh, it is tough choice. I might go with Dr. Cat because I love me some sexy cat girls. And yep, you could guess it, Dr. K is going up onto S tier. Don't worry, I will keep Corone and Kendricks above her because they made history, but Dr. Cat, love her. Like, it's a sexy cat girl as a Power Ranger. How do you not love that? Dr. Cat is initially a mentor figure for the SPD team. She's the techie, she's the genius, she's building the SPD weaponry for B Squad. Dr. K is... or Dr. Cat, I should say. There is a Dr. K who comes later. Dr. Cat is a head scientist working for Kruger's SPD team, and she's more or less the team mom. She's the nurturing one, the compassionate one, brings the Rangers back down to Earth, convinces them to do the morally right thing. She and Kruger definitely have a nice working relationship. I think Kruger and Dr. Cat were easily the best characters of SPD. Yeah, everyone wants Dr. Cat, fully agree. What is Wolf and House's favorite female ranger? Wolf hasn't seen enough of them, but knowing House, he loves Rose from Operation Overdrive. Rose is a genius. How do you not respect that? Shut up, House. Operation Overdrive sucks. So of course House likes it. Agree. She's a beautiful, intelligent girl who can fight. So, this is what landed her a position on this list. Dr. Cat does become a ranger. She gets a temporary morpher. Dr. Cat transfers over to Commander Birdie's unit, gets a promotion, but she realizes she still cares about her original SPD team deep down. She goes back and basically has to fight an evil rival using a super weapon he stole from her, and she becomes the Cat Ranger. Yep, she has a cat girl ranger uniform, which is also just as hot as she is. Yeah, she looked pretty good in that. So, the cat outfit was supposed to be a swan outfit because her Sentai counterpart is actually a bird. But they easily modified it to make it look like a cat just like her, and really wish this was permanent because Dr. Cat kicked ass. She kills a whole bunch of elite Crybots and defeats her arch nemesis Mooney, and I believe Broodwing is in the episode. She destroys their super weapon and saves her family. The SPD team is more or less her children. She watches out for them like a mother, and Dr. Cat's pretty kick-ass, really like her. She's even still fighting in the finale, and we actually get to see her use her cat girl skills. See her, like, parkouring, leaping on stuff Catwoman style, so, you know, that's why I like her. Yeah, she can fight. She is fighting in the finale, too, even without a Ranger armor. Dr. Cat was the moral compass of Doggy Kruger, and I almost ship her with Doggy. Yeah, I understand that. It felt like Doggy and Dr. Cat were going to have a romance because they were kind of the parents to the SPD team, and they knew each other for a long time. Dr. Cat is actually over 100 years old, but thanks to that alien chemistry and biology, manages to look pretty good. So, yeah, you know me, I love sexy cat women, so Dr. Cat definitely S tier. She should have been a permanent ranger. Yeah, she's my favorite, but I won't lie, Corone and Kendricks and Jen are still superior. So yeah, she makes it high. But now let's end on the high note of all high notes, Tommy Oliver. Yep, he's back. Yep, Tommy Oliver, who's technically the first White Ranger. Tommy Oliver, yeah, is there really any doubt? He's going on to S tier. I might have to put him under Corone and Kendricks too, though, just because they were very important pinks. So, Tommy Oliver, White Tiger Ranger. Yep, Tommy got a new power in Mighty Morphin. So, if you don't know, Tommy lost the Green Ranger abilities. He was the Green Ranger for most of the first season and first 2 seasons. Yeah, White Ranger came much later. Tommy Oliver was mostly the Green Dragon Ranger, and unfortunately, he was losing his powers. I believe he was disconnected with Rita Repulsa, who invented the Green Ranger powers. He was at risk of losing his Ranger powers full time, but Tommy didn't want to leave his team. He wanted to still fight, so Zordon remade him as the White Ranger. White Ranger Tiger Power! White Ranger Tiger Power! Once a Ranger, always a Ranger. Yep, the legend Tommy Oliver. Of course he's gone on S tier. Ultimate high note. Tommy is technically the first White Ranger, and of course he was also badass. He did not lose any of his abilities as a kick-ass once he became the white guy. So, I know we all love Tommy as the Green Ranger, but the White Power arc is definitely a very kick-ass storyline, and it showed that Tommy was pretty much here to stay, and I believe is a solid resolution to his redemption arc, because now he's officially one of Zordon's warriors. He became the White Tiger Ranger, and is still the White Tiger Ranger in the Mighty Morphin movie when they fight Ivan Ooze, so pretty cool to see. This was, of course, a classic because Tommy Oliver is a very well-rounded, likable character, and him getting a new power set was kind of the first steps testing the waters that the Rangers would get new outfits and new powers as the show would go on, and it worked greatly. He was a very kick-ass White Ranger. I remember him in the movie where he saved the subway train. It was about to be derailed and he used his weird Falcon Zord to save it. Kind of weird that these animals never showed up again, but yeah, he used the Falcon Zord to save a subway train. Then they beat Ivan Ooze's bad CGI Predacon into space. Cool. There it goes, the legend. Sure, she was occupied. There he goes, the legend. So that's Tommy Oliver. He really is the best Ranger. Yeah, right. What'd I say? Well, I wouldn't go that far. I did replace him. Yeah, sure, but he was always occupied at the juice bar kissing up Kimberly. The rivalry between Jason and Tommy, both legends. Yep. Jason David Frank, you left too soon from this world. I never gotten a chance to meet you in person. You will be missed, good sir. You were strong, but apparently all 'cause of a woman, you took your life. That is sad. Rest in peace, Jason David Frank. The Ivan Ooze movie was in an alternate reality. It was? Okay, I wasn't sure. I know it kind of breaks continuity, especially because there's that weird pigman in Lord Zedd's villain circle who never appeared again. He is the goat to this day. Also, Fukiya Iazaki was Haley's Japanese counterpart. Okay, so gonna be a bit short because we're only talking about his debut as a White Ranger. As you know, Tommy would become the Red Zeo Ranger and later a Dino Thunder Ranger, but Tommy is the White Ranger. It is iconic. Arguably, it saved the season once the ratings were starting to fall and kind of changed the status quo and showed that the Rangers could continue on the fight. White Tiger Ranger is just as legendary as the Green Ranger. The only reason why he's lower than these three is because these pinks kind of made history. They nerfed Lord Zedd. Opinion was Torterra OP. Yeah, he was. Ivan Ooze was definitely too OP. They nerfed Lord Zedd in that final season, which Season 3, I've heard a lot of fans do not look fondly back on, even with the White Ranger saving the ratings. Yeah, Lord Zedd became watered down. I did mention this in my top 5, and they did a lot of stupid story arcs. I heard some people don't like the Old West Rangers. That one was kind of weird, but pretty funny. Tommy wasn't even gonna be the White Ranger. Glad he did. So who was gonna be the OG White Ranger before we wrap up? Kind of curious, but of course Tommy's gone on to S tier. It's Tommy Oliver. This guy is practically one of the icons of this franchise. People know him when he's out of the Ranger armor. That's how cool Jason David Frank was. But yeah, no surprise, White Tiger Ranger is S tier because all the Mighty Morphin characters are in S tier, except for Rocky and Doc and Cat. Yeah, I'm sorry, I still don't look fondly back on Cat. Maybe Zeo will change my mind, but yeah, Tommy's S tier. Best White Ranger ever, and he's still going up here high, but because it's a Pink Ranger list, I do feel it's more appropriate to have some pinks outrank him. But Tommy Oliver, perfect 10 out of 10, S tier. So that pretty much completes our tier list. We'll go over it one last time for any of you late birds. Lord Zedd was the OP. Yeah, Lord Zed got married and getting in love and nerfed him. Yeah, that's how all the fans felt. Lord Zed was turned goofy by Rita Repulsa's love potion, and let's just say he never got back to his scary old self. Sorry I had to leave for a bit. What did I miss? We're wrapping up Bat Kid. We ended with Tommy Oliver, the first White Ranger who is an S tier. Going over the list one last time, so don't worry. Still got a few minutes. Okay, so total trash, Rose, Operation Overdrive, they all sucked, so of course she's down here. No, being the smart one of her group didn't make her likable. Then we have 2017 Kimberly, bastardize our favorite Ranger babe. We have Sam, Sam's a ball of light, moving on. We have, this was Emma, yeah, Megaforce's Emma. She was a dumb airhead, annoying. We have the A Squad Pink, who only had like one line, and she was basically a traitor. She backstabbed humanity. She belongs down here. And we have the White Alien Ranger, who didn't do anything. They were all forgettable. In the trash, these ones are all the worst. Question marks, we have the Rhino Ranger Dominic, who I don't know, haven't watched him. Then we have we do have the Dino Charge Ranger. No, Ninja Steel Rangers. Yeah, we have the Ninja Steel Rangers. Sarah and Haley. Never watched Ninja Steel, so no thoughts on that. And we have, I'm trying to remember. This is, I believe it's, can't remember now. Yeah, I just don't know this character. Alright, I thought it was one of the Dino Rangers. Yeah, Amelia. Okay, that's it. Amelia. This is Amelia. Never watched her show. Never saw Super Dino Charge. She's gone on to question mark. Then in C tier, we have our weak links. We have Sid, who I just did not care for. We have Mia, who was pretty, she was pretty adorable. I can understand why people liked her. Spike, Skull's son, had a crush on her, but kind of bland in the grand scheme of things. And we have not Rose, Vita from Mystic Force. Her story arc is she hates the color pink and has to get over it. Riveting. She's gone on to C tier. Then in B tier, we have Udana, pretty interesting character, but a bit undercooked. And the same with Dana Mitchell. I really wanted to love her. She is higher than the rest of these characters, but Dana was just underutilized. Her one good episode was in the Limelight. Amelia as Dino Fury Pink. Yeah, thank you, Moon Knight. This was fun, Cat. Nice tier list. Looking forward to the next one and the next review whenever that comes out. How did you felt about Zordon Sacrificed? I loved it. I talked about in Space tier list and in Andros' tier list. Zordon Sacrifice in Space finale, if that's what you're talking about, pretty heartwarming and very satisfying. Lord Zed should have been the Mystic Father and equal to Mystic Mother's Rita Repulsa of Good Magic and Mystic Force. Fully agree, Bat Kid. That would have been interesting. Rita and Zed are still in love even when they're good guys. But yeah, B tier, Dana and Udana definitely had potential, but undercooked. Then in A, our awesome characters, I did put Shelby up here because all my Dino Charge fans suddenly showed up and defend that she is a cool pink. I'll put her on A. She was pretty well liked apparently, but I don't know much about her, which is why she's not S tier. We have Alyssa. I liked her from Wild Force. She was fine. I just wish her romance with Cole amounted to something. And we have Cat. So apparently Cat got redeemed in Zeo, which I still haven't seen, so I'll be fair and put her up here, but all I know about Cat is that she was that bitch who replaced Kimberly, so not a good impression, and unfortunately on Turbo she barely did jack, but apparently people love her in Zeo, so I'll put her on to A, and it helps that Catherine Hillard is pretty well liked in real life, so she'll go on to A tier. This is Dragon Ranger Kira signing off. That leaves us with blue is cool. We also have green. Alright, wrapping up with the S tier. Psycho Pink, awesome villain. Kimberly, she's a classic. Cassie, great kick-ass Space Ranger. She fully got redeemed after the mess that was Turbo. Trent, White Dino Thunder Ranger, awesome character, awesome arc. Loved his Jekyll and Hyde struggle. Dino Thunder was a great series, and the mystery of the White Ranger was a key reason why. Dr. Cat. What can I say? I love sexy cat women, so of course a sexy cat girl ranger was definitely one of my favorites of all time. Tommy Oliver, yeah, of course he's S tier. Is there anyone surprised? Tommy Oliver is one of the best characters, and he only became cooler when he became the White Tiger Ranger. Then our top three, Crone and Kendrix, The Lost Galaxy. Crone had a great story arc, going from villain to hero, so that's what made her very much a powerful Pink Ranger. Kendrix, she made history because she was the first Ranger to die in combat, and she sacrificed herself saving trillions of lives. So, of course I really like Kendrix, but Maya's still way hotter. But our number one Pink Ranger is Jen, the Pink Time Force Ranger. Was there really anyone who expected any different? Jen is awesome, has great character development, kick-ass fighter, a great storyline, and she pretty much made Time Force one of the best series ever. Love her romance with Wes. Jen is our number one Pink Ranger. So, I think you actually can get a snapshot of all of them. I'm sorry I might be blocking, but hey, I'm only blocking the Alien Ranger, so who cares? But yeah, got that. Jen is number one, and the worst one is Rose from Operation Overdrive. Fun fact, Cat. Cat was a cat transformed into a human, if I remember correctly. I don't think she was. She's a cat girl alien. They mentioned that several times. Bye, Kira. So, what's the next color? Green or blue? We'll see. My next tier list actually might be a horror tier list. Some people want me to talk about horror movies again, so I will oblige. I'm considering doing a Wes Craven horror saga, but not the one you might be thinking of. The other one that's been called on a lot. Hint, hint, wink, wink. Yeah, might be getting back to horror. Don't worry, Ranger tier lists are not over, so we still got two colors, and Dino Thunder is a show I'm currently watching, so yeah. Might be doing a horror tier list, though, next, so if you're curious, Ranger fans, you might be able to skip the next one. But yeah, review-wise, I might do another Goosebumps one. We'll see. I am kind of planning things out by ear now, so just gotta form my schedule. Not sure what the next review is, but I know the next tier list is definitely gonna be a horror-related saga, so hope you guys show up to that. Anyways, talked about all the Pink and White Rangers. Take a snapshot if you can't see them all, but this pretty much concludes this tier list. Until next time, may the power protect you. Bye, Shadowlink. I was talking Cat Pink Ranger. Alright, gotta wrap things up now. Bye, Cat. I will buy you a Dr. Cat Power Ranger for you. Thank you, James. I really appreciate it. Dr. Cat is one of my favorites. She's in the top 5. But enough about me and my love of cat girls. I should set you guys free now. Thank you all for joining us. Really appreciate it. Next tier list is a horror one. Don't worry, Ranger tier lists are not over yet. But hope to see you guys on the next one regardless. So I'll set you free. Remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe, or just tune in for more here on Wolf Entertainment. I'm your host, Catastrophe, and remember, boys and girls, too much pink energy is dangerous.